want to be a lion. When I grow up, I'm going to be a flapper.
Yeah, when I grow up, you know what I wanna be? Take a seat, let me tell you my ridiculous dreams. I wanna rap, yeah, I know it's hard to believe. And I can tell you're already thinking I will never succeed, but I'm okay with it, I admit the lyrics are weak. I've been working on them, I'll be good eventually. I understand you gotta crawl before you get to your feet, but I've been running for a while, they ain't ready for me. I know this probably isn't really realistic, and honestly I might not ever make a difference, but that don't make a difference, I'ma have to risk it. I've been crunching numbers, you ain't gotta be a mathematician, and see the odds ain't rooting for me. I can't lie though, it's kinda how I like it to be, the underdog. Yeah, you probably think you know what I mean, but what I'm saying is they ever push me, I'm gonna swing. Yeah, I could go to college getting dead like everybody else, graduating, probably get a job that doesn't pay the bills. That don't make a lot of sense to me, forget the happy meals. I don't like the dollar menu, I would rather make a meal. Huh? Make a meal? No, I said make a meal. Home cooking, get the grill. How you want it? Pretty well. Everything I see is overdone to me, I'm not a dad, but I'ma get a record deal and say hello to Master Bill. When I grow up, I just wanna pay my bills, rapping about the way I feel. Oh yeah, I just wanna make a couple mil, leave it to the fam and the will. Oh yeah, I just wanna sign a record deal, maybe buy a house up in the hills. Oh yeah, might not be the best in my field, but I guarantee that I'ma die real when I grow up. Yeah, hey, when I grow up. Yeah, hey, I'ma make them notice me, rhyming like it's poetry. Everything I oversee, I just like to overthink. Mocking me, you pay the fee, no return and no receipts. Those of you that don't believe, quiet, you don't know a thing. Quiet when I'm trying to sing, quiet when I'm making beats, quiet when I'm trying to think. Sorry, I don't mean to scream, I just feel like no one really gets me, and it's sad to see, cause someday I'ma grow up and show all of you it's meant to be. Yeah, anybody wanna hear me rap? No. Come on, let me play a couple tracks. No. Come on, I can spit it really fast. No. You think I should throw this in the trash? No. Trick ya, haters go away before I hit ya. I am not a beggar or a kiss up. You don't understand, well I forgive ya. I am not a quitter, you didn't really think that, did ya? Maybe someday I could even be up on the radio, have a tour bus and maybe even play a couple shows. Everybody in the crowd singing every word I wrote, telling me that I am not the only one that feels alone. Huh? You feel alone? Yeah, I kinda feel alone. Wonder if the feeling ever goes away when you get old. Will I ever make it as an artist? I don't really know. Might not make a lot of dough, I'ma have to try it though. I just wanna pay my bills, rapping about the way I feel. Oh yeah, I just wanna make a couple mil, leave it to the fam and the will. Oh yeah, I just wanna sign a record deal, maybe buy a house up in the hills. Oh yeah, might not be the best in my field, but I guarantee that I'ma die real when I grow up. I just wanna pay my bills, rapping about the way I feel. Yeah, I just wanna make a couple mil, leave it to the fam and the will. I just wanna sign a record deal, maybe buy a house up in the hills. Yeah, I might not be the best in my field, but I guarantee that I'ma die real when I grow up. Look, self-awareness, pride's a coat and yes I like to wear it. Buttoned up, don't like to let no air in, with a pair of gloves that I hope doesn't perish. I discovered though when I get holes in them, and I let joy in, I'm in higher spirits. My mistakes are like a screaming parrot, just repeating lyrics, I can barely bear it when I'm lost. Road is narrow, I'm looking down it like a gun's barrel. Aren't we all searching for the serum that could help us breathe and leave our state of peril? All of us have made defensive scarecrows that we scatter around our fields and treat like heroes when they scare away the things that we should cherish, cause we're too embarrassed to admit the fear is that we're lost. Yeah, but what does it matter? I get too combative inside of me, is a personal canvas. The pain can be flat and get messy when I start to get rattled. The heart of a savage and quiet when I lurk in the shadow. But something on that up, I don't wanna be over dramatic, but look at the data, it's obvious that humans are fragile. We tend to get mad at the ones that call us out, but the fact is we need someone that'll be honest when we fly off that handle. I admit I throw a fit when I begin to unravel. Keep my wits spin off the grid, but now I'm back in the saddle. My intent is not to rant, I like to own what I value. I can take you on the fence and maybe pick up the paddle. I like to roll against the current, that's the way that I travel. Opposite of what the grain has got the brain of a rebel. Take initiative, I'm diligent on every level. I never can settle, I like to keep my foot in the pedal. Yeah, I love to pack arenas and all, but what I really wanna do is learn to handle my thoughts and put the reins on them, show them I'm the one that's the boss, and pull them back when they get out of hand and breaking their jaws. I'm taking the flaws and told me I can never revolve, then pull a bane on them, ask them, are you
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hey, welcome back to another live stream. Super excited to have you taking the time to hang out with me. If you don't know who I am, well, hello. Nice to meet you. My name is Tyler Ramsby. I am the founder of two different companies. One is Hacksmarter. We have hands-on labs and courses that you can actually afford in the field of ethical hacking. And guess what? I just released our latest course, and I think the best course that I have ever made. And I think that's saying a lot, because if you've taken any of my courses, hopefully you would agree that they're all very, very good. But my Foundations of Web App Pen Testing, I think, is the best course I have done up to this point. And honestly, I don't know if I will ever be able to beat this course with future courses. Like, I really think this one is incredibly well done. So if you haven't checked it out, what are you waiting for? Go to hacksmarter.org. It is 50% off, 50% off as a special launch pricing, and it's available right now. So go enroll, hack all the things. My ankle itches. There, but go enroll. I think you'll enjoy it, and honestly, it does come back with a 100% money back guarantee. So if you go through the entire course, all the labs, and you are not a significantly more skilled web app pen tester, email me, I'll refund you. Or, and I mean this, if you find another course that teaches the concepts better than mine, and it's as affordable as mine, heck, even if it's not as affordable as mine, email me. I genuinely think this is the best beginner-friendly web app pen testing course that you can buy today. I'll go toe-to-toe with any platform. I really do think that, because it comes from my experience doing real-world pen testing. But hey, speaking of real-world pen testing, hopefully you like that little transition. I'm also the founder of KairosSec. You can see that link as well below me, kairos-sec.com. We offer all kinds of pen testing services, and that's kind of, well, I wouldn't really say it's my main gig. I'm the only paid employee of both Hacksmarter and KairosSec, so they're both kind of my main gigs. But KairosSec is really starting to pick up traction as well, like to the point that it's a struggle to balance both of them. So, gosh, I have a pen test scoping call scheduled for this afternoon. I have 2 scoping calls scheduled for tomorrow. I just responded to another potential client who reached out to me via email. We just landed, amazing. I honestly didn't think this would be possible, but we also recently landed our first 6-figure pen testing deal that will kick off in the summer and will keep me busy from about June until October, which is absolutely insane. But the reason I shared that is I want you to know, when you go through my courses and my content on Hacksmarter, I'm not just some random YouTube influencer trying to talk about hacking for the views. I literally do this. I literally run my own pen testing firm. I hack companies for a living, and I get paid to do it. And if you want to know how I do that, well, that's why I made Hacksmarter. It's sort of like the training arm of KairosSec. But okay. Ferry said, I agree. The course is holy moly from the first section. I put so much into that, guys. Like, when I say it is the best web app pen testing course you can get, I absolutely mean it. I don't see anything else out there that even comes close to it. Like, TCM has some good web app course, but they don't have hosted labs. And I mean, different teaching styles help for different people. But the thing about my course is it's super affordable, but I also give you over 30 custom labs that you don't have to self-host. I host them for you in the cloud. You connect via VPN. I think you will really enjoy the whole experience of going through the course. And I really don't think there's anything else that comes close to it at this season of time. Does it expire? No, it does not expire. Like, that offer remains. If you find something better, let me know. But I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised. I saw a few people on Discord saying they have high expectations for the course. Like, your expectations will be met and exceeded, I promise you. Other thing that I forgot to mention, I want to let you know that I'm live right now on 3 different platforms, so you can join me on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Twitch, whichever one works best for you. On YouTube and LinkedIn, I just stream under my name, Tyler Ramsby, and over on Twitch, I stream under the handle hack_smarter. So YouTube and LinkedIn is Tyler Ramsby, Twitch, it is hack_smarter, and I have the chat from all 3 platforms pulled up. So I have all of it right here in front of me. So what we're going to do in today's live stream, I'm not roasting any more people. I'm very surprised how popular that stream was yesterday, but if you missed out on it, you can watch the full recording on my YouTube channel. But we spent like almost 3 hours just looking through people's like LinkedIn's and blogs and GitHubs. And I use the word roasting because it's more clickbaity, but really just giving you critical feedback while live on stream and having other people also give feedback. But because that was so popular, I will bring it back and we'll do it at least once a week where we do a 2 to 3 hour stream of just looking through people's portfolios and hopefully giving you really solid feedback. But here's the thing. If we do that every single day, I think personally it'll get a little bit old. What I noticed, even if I did not review your LinkedIn or your GitHub or your portfolio, there was a consistent theme across almost every single person I reviewed. And if you just watch that full live stream and you take what I told other people and apply it to yourself, I think that you'll be able to level up your personal branding and your kind of personal marketing game. So do that. But because it's so consistent from one to one, I think if we do those type of streams back to back, it will start to feel redundant. So I think once a week would be a good way of doing that. I don't have like a set day or anything like that. I take it one day at a time. I'm not that organized when it comes to streams, but I'll start trying to do that once a week and hopefully provide even more value that way. But in today's live stream, we are going to do one of our more classic hack all the things streams. So for the first, 30 to 45 minutes, if there are questions, I will do AMA. AMA stands for Ask Me Anything. So if you have any questions about, Hacksmarter or cybersecurity or pen testing or careers or business or entrepreneurship, I have experience in all of those things on my day-to-day basis. Happy to answer your questions. I really am an open book. And then once we finish up the questions, we are going to dive into some labs from the Hacksmarter platform. Let me just show you what we are going to work on later in today's stream. Number one, if you are not a member of Hacksmarter, I don't know what you're doing with your life. I just dropped a link in chat. If you're new here, you'll notice that we have subscriptions. So all access, as it sounds, unlocks everything on the platform. Hands-on Labs just unlocks the Hands-on Lab section. You can also buy our courses as a one-time payment for lifetime access. So you can either get access to all the courses via all access, or you can just pay for it one time. No subscription required. Same with the Hack With Me's, which are sort of like mini courses. But in addition to all that type of material, I have hands-on labs on the platform. And this is where I think Hacksmarter really does shine as well. We release new labs every single week. And one big update that we've added since the last time I showed off the hands-on labs is we already had categories, but we made it look a little bit nicer by having a drop-down menu. So you can see that we have labs covering AWS, Web, Windows, Linux, AD, Blue Team, and miscellaneous. And we also added a drop-down for difficulty rating. So let's say you're like, hey, I want to see all of the Active Directory labs that are rated as easy. You can do that, or all the AD labs that are rated as medium, or all the AD labs that are rated as hard, right? And you can do that for all of the different categories, depending on what you are looking for. We can also look at all of the easy labs in general and begin with some of those easy labs. So trying to make sorting a little bit easier for all of you, not that we are adding a bunch more labs to the platform, like literally new labs every single week. And I'll give you guys a preview of a lab that is coming out this Thursday. Give me just a moment. Let me log in, but we're releasing our next lab this Thursday, and I'm excited to share with you guys that I'm going to make the lab completely free. So some of the labs are free. Most of them are paid because even the free labs are free for you. They're not free for me. But I am trying to do my best that if the lab doesn't take a bunch of resources, like Active Directory, for example, that takes multiple resources, or many of our AD labs are multiple machines, I just cannot offer that for free. The hosting costs add up. But for the Linux labs, the ones that are a little smaller, I'm going to be trying to offer those for free, no subscription required, so you can check out the platform. And this is the lab that we are going to be coming out with on Thursday. So this will go live on Thursday morning. And as you can see, it's going to be completely free. No subscription required at all on this. I just realized I need to update the content name. But this is by my friend Andrew, and you have been retained to conduct a targeted pen test against a critical asset within the client's internal network. Scope is limited, blah, blah. One thing that's really cool about this lab that I think you guys will enjoy, it is Linux, so it's a Linux lab, but it also has a lot of like DevOps pipeline pen testing built into it, and even a little bit, just a tiny bit of AWS pen testing. So it's like Linux, DevOps, and AWS all in one lab. And like I said, I'm going to make this one completely free. So no subscription will be required. You can check it out, no strings attached, but that will be coming out on Thursday. We generally release our new labs every single Thursday, so stay tuned for that. I guess Thursday is freaking tomorrow. So I will live stream tomorrow and introduce this lab then, but just stay on the lookout for this. This lab will be coming out tomorrow, and it will be completely free. Okay, now that I got through all of my stuff, let me scroll up in chat, and I'm just going to real quick answer any questions that people have asked. We got Computer Guy Dre with the first blood in chat. What up, Philly D? What's up, Metrics? What's up, Port Zero? Good to see you as well. What's up, Joshua? We got Fairy with the sixth blood. I'll go with it. Knights Templar Rise again was helping me be a YouTuber. He said, hit the thumbs up button to help support Tyler. Yeah. So like the YouTubers say, guys, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button on Twitch. I think there's a subscribe button, or follow on Twitch. On LinkedIn, you can smash the thumbs up button. I don't freaking know, but do all the things. Do all the, my friend Network Chuck always says, hack YouTube today, hack the algorithm. So share this, like all that, hack the social media algorithm today. Tell a friend to tell a friend about Hacksmarter and about these live streams. What's up, Jesse? More, good to see you. We got Ojaz Veer Singh. I don't know how to say your name, but hello. Good to have you here as well. We got Neckbeard 777. I like it. I like the name. Good to see you. Egra said, what are we hacking today? Oh, I never actually showed you guys what lab we're doing either. Let me show that real quick. So I've been working through our hands-on labs in the order that they have been released. So we just finished up. Where actually are we at? We released so many labs, I can't even keep up my own platform. We just finished up the welcome machine on our previous live stream, well, 2 live streams ago, because the last live stream was roasting everybody. And so it looks like the machine that we're going to be starting today is Midgard 2. So we'll be kicking off Midgard 2. So if you want to follow along, this is an Active Directory Challenge lab, and it is going to require a subscription. I'm going to click into it real quick. I don't actually know if I've solved this one yet. We have a volunteer QA team at Hacksmarter, and they QA most of the machines, not me. So when I go through it, it's like my raw attempts at solving the machine. So 1 second. Let me get some things. Well, actually, we'll get that ready later. I'll do Q&A first, and then I'll worry about getting everything to the lab ready. Josiah Miles said, good morning. Passed the Pen Test Plus this morning about an hour ago. That is awesome. Congratulations, my friend. Congrats on passing the Pen Test Plus. That is amazing. I love it. I love it. All right, scrolling. Brown Coyote, good to see you. Edgar said, hey, I'm Edgar Lambert from Uganda. How you all? Hey, I'm doing well. Appreciate you joining all the way from Uganda. That's awesome. Please review my portfolio. Hey, Benj, if I'm saying your name right, that is not today's live stream, but I will be doing that sometime next week. Next is the LLM hacking course. Probably not. Next, I want to do a Foundations of Active Directory course, not Active Directory hacking. One big thing that I've noticed is a lot of people struggle with Active Directory hacking when they're studying for exams like the OSCP or PNPT or OSCP. And what I've noticed is people with no Active Directory experience just try to dive straight into Active Directory hacking without actually understanding how AD works and how to build with it. Now, I used to be a senior analyst on the blue team, and one of my specialties was Active Directory hardening and doing some of that infrastructure work. So I wanted to create a course called Foundations of Active Directory that doesn't teach you how to hack AD, but teaches you how to build AD, how to work with Active Directory from the perspective of a sysadmin or even IT support, because the better you understand how to actually build with something, then I think that hacking or breaking it will make a lot more sense. So it'll be a smaller course. That's really what I want to release next. I don't have a set date yet. I'm not going to announce a date until I figure out what my pen testing calendar looks like. As I shared earlier in this stream, pen testing is really starting to pick up, and I have multiple scoping calls lined up this week with potential clients. So I need to see like, hey, what is their timeline? Am I able to fit them into my calendar? And how does that affect course creation? Because I can't pen test and create courses at the same time. So it's a massive balancing act. So no promises on when the next course will be released, but I can say we release labs on Hacksmarter every single week. And we're also experimenting with guided labs, which is more like a teaching form rather than a challenge lab. So stay tuned for all that. All right, scrolling. Everyone's saying, I just bought the course. Thank you all. Seriously. Your guys' support means the world to me. So thank you so much. It blows my mind because when I was looking at enrollments, at least yesterday, I haven't even checked today, but yesterday when I was looking at enrollments, within the first 6 hours or so, over 300 people enrolled in the course, which That's insane, guys. Like, beyond what I was expecting. Now, to be clear, not all of them paid the full price. A lot of those people are part of the all access membership. So as soon as the course releases, if you're in all access, you get access to it. You don't have to buy it. It's already there. So if you haven't explored the subscription, you should check it out. It gives you access to all of our courses. But yeah, over 300 people enrolled in the first 6 hours. Mind blown. So thank you so much if you have enrolled. And if you haven't yet, what are you waiting for? Seriously, enroll it. You'll enjoy it. All right, scrolling. Gratitude said, hey, Tyler submitted CPTS report this week and now awaiting results. That is awesome. Congratulations, my friend. Josiah said, what are you going to do for DEF CON during your huge penitent? What's my penitent? Don't actually know what you're talking about. At least I don't know what you mean by penitent. Do you mean meetup or something? I don't have any big plans for DEF CON. I might be speaking. I might be speaking at DEF CON in one of the villages, but I always play it by ear. Last time I keynoted the Red Team Village, like I was on the keynote panel with my friends Namsec and Zero Day. Guys, I didn't even know I was doing that till 2 weeks before DEF CON started. Freaking Namsec messaged me on Discord and he's like, hey, Tyler, do you want to be on the keynote panel with me and Zero Day at DEF CON? And I was like, yes, I do. So I didn't even know I was speaking at DEF CON until about 2 weeks before it started, and I ended up being on the keynote panel for the Red Team Village. So I'm sure I'll be doing stuff at DEF CON. I don't have any big things planned, but they tend to just happen. So we'll see what all happens at DEF CON. I'll be there, though. I'll be at DEF CON. Works on Mine said, going back to an AD pen testing in a real engagement, if I saw vulnerability on the DC that I can exploit, should I exploit it? Yes. I mean, I don't know what the exploit is. You don't want to take anything down. So it all depends on context there. What's up, Script Kid? Neo Tokyo said, people who take monthly sub in February lose out a few days right from the billing cycle. It'll be cool if you look into that. I don't think you will lose out on a few days. It should give you 30 days of access or whatever a typical month is. If you lose out on like a day or two and you really want, I can give you $1.25 or something. Like, I don't even know what that would come down to. But to be realistic, the amount of content you get for the price that I give you with a monthly sub is insanity. So like, if you enroll in February and for some reason, I don't even know if this is true because I'm pretty sure it gives you a standard month. But if you are somehow out like 2 days and you really want me to refund you those 2 days, I'll give you, like, what would that be? Here, I'll even calculate it for you. Let's say, well, that would be $2. If you really want me to give you $2 back, shoot me an email and I will Venmo you $2. I got you. I'll buy you a soda. What if you got it free? I don't know what you're talking about, Metrics. Eric said, now that you're having a cloud pen testing course, do you still suggest using Pwn Labs to learn about cloud pen testing? Do you know about Hacktrick's course on cloud? Would love to hear a comparison. Yes, I'd strongly suggest Pwn Labs. They have massively more AWS content than Hacksmarter has because Hacksmarter is all different service types. They are focused on cloud. So Pwn Labs, if you are interested in cloud pen testing specifically, Pwn Labs is right now the best platform for doing all those different labs. So, Praju, do I have a little Asian? No, I'm tired. I have a little tired. Also, if I'm ever squinting when I'm looking at you guys, there is I can't show this to you because I have to turn the camera around, but right behind the camera, there is a light that illuminates my face and it's actually really bright. So when I'm looking up at the camera, this light is like shining directly into my eyes. Now I have like when you look at a bright light and then all you see is a black bar, that's what I'm doing now. So if you see me squinty when I'm looking up, it's because there's a freaking massive light behind the camera to illuminate my face. Because if I turn it off, I'll show you guys. This is what it looks like when the light is off. Honestly, it's not terrible because my camera adjusts well, but it's much better when the light is on. Give it a second to adjust. There we go. Fairy said, I was thinking by the time I might want to go for Sliver, I will just buy the all access. That is after I finish AWS and the new web app course. There you go. I mean, a big part of the all access, like a big benefit of it is, yes, you get access to all courses, all Hack With Me's, all labs, but you're also going to get access to our upcoming ranges. Our first range will be coming up in March, and our first range is like a 6-machine network with machines chained together. So all access gives you a massive amount of value. How come the blue labs are few? We just released our first blue team lab. I am not a blue teamer, so when we release blue team labs, it just takes a little more work. I don't make them, obviously, since I don't do blue teaming, but we have a few more blue team labs in the pipeline that will coming out very, very soon. Computer Guy Dre said, Tyler's courses have the best structure. That's super underrated when learning new topics. Hey, thank you, my friend. I appreciate the kind words. It costs you until you sell it to Hack the Box. I'm not selling to Hack the Box. I'm not selling to anyone. I hopefully I've been very clear about this. I think you're maybe halfway joking because I see the laughing face, but that is a common question I get. Like, Tyler, are you just building up Hacksmarter to sell to Hack the Box? Because that's what happened to VulnLab. I was a huge fan of VulnLab. I'm still a huge fan of XCT, but VulnLab was, I think, one of the best platforms for learning hacking and affordability. And then they sold to Hack the Box. And of course, with that comes a pretty big price hike. I have zero plans of ever selling Hacksmarter. I don't want to. At all, not even a little bit. Now, Hack the Box are good friends of mine. I've talked to them, and I can't share anything public yet, but I've talked to them about some maybe collaborations between our two platforms and helping people from both platforms. But I was very clear with them, if we collaborate on anything, in the branding, we have to make it very, very, very clear that you have not purchased Hacksmarter, because I don't want to even give that feeling to people. So, and I even jokingly told Hack the Box when I was meeting with them, I was like, guys, if anything, like, I'll buy Hack the Box, but you're not buying Hacksmarter. So Hack the Box knows where I stand on this. They're good friends of mine. I'm friends with many of their staff, but they know, like, Hacksmarter will not be for sale. And I've jokingly told them I'll buy Hack the Box before they buy Hacksmarter. So we're not for sale. I have no outside investors. The only investor of Hacksmarter is my personal checking account and those of you who have bought a course. I have zero outside investors for Hacksmarter or Kairosec. I don't have an outside board telling me what I can and cannot do. I don't have anyone saying, Tyler, now you need to focus on business-to-business sales in order to make the most money, blah, blah. I don't have any of that crap. I don't plan on having any of that crap. Hacksmarter is founder-led. We are fully independent, and we will remain that way. All right, Tiso said, I'm starting for a certification and I have to know how to use Bloodhound. What do you suggest about learning it? I mean, real learning it so I can ace the exam. If you watch any of my videos on Active Directory, I show how to use Bloodhound, like in literally all of them. I think I have a few shorter videos on my YouTube channel. Matter of fact, here, let's do this. We go to YouTube. I don't know if this will come up or not. I don't know how well YouTube's filtering is. But if I go to YouTube, and I'm on my YouTube channel right here, so I'll just drop a link. And let me search for Bloodhound. All right, so I have quite a few, even just Bloodhound-specific videos on my channel. And I think that will give you a good feel on how to use Bloodhound. Probably, like, let's see. Here's a 11-minute video that's only focused on Bloodhound. How to enumerate Active Directory with Bloodhound without being overwhelmed. It was 1 year ago, but it should still be pretty up to date. It sounds like that may be what you are looking for. So check out that video, how to enumerate Active Directory with Bloodhound without being overwhelmed. All right, let me scroll back up. I'm way behind. Oh, and I just saw the super chat from FaVCA. Apologize, I didn't see it before. I scroll from the top to answer all of the questions, and I was scrolling back to the top and just saw your super chat. So because I saw it, let me answer your question, and then I will go back to the other questions. Tyler, what was the biggest challenge when starting your own academy platform? Looking to start something similar here in Argentina. The biggest challenge is probably the cost. If you are doing hosted labs, you need to keep in mind that that's going to add up significantly. I actually negotiated I don't know, a better plan, a better rate with the back end. So the back end of Hacksmarter uses CoreStack. CoreStack is another startup. It's ran by 3 developers. They're very good friends of mine. Like I'm in Slack with them and everything. So I consider them partners of Hacksmarter, but they of course have their own business and things that they have to run. But with that, costs do add up when you have thousands of people on your platform. Like I think in the month of January, what was it, like people launched 7,000 different VMs, and those are all different EC2s in AWS. So the costs add up. So that's honestly the biggest thing, is keep in mind that it's not cheap to start a platform like this. If you're just doing courses with no labs, that's cheap. Like you can do it yourself, but courses with hands-on labs built into it with the VPN and then offering hands-on labs is not cheap. Matter of fact, Rick, if you guys, I'll even give you a closer detail of this. I paid for a bunch of my costs for a year in order to save money. So basically I negotiated with them. I was like, instead of paying usage every month, what if we average out what usage is? And what if I literally pay you all the platform fees, all of the hosting fees at one time for the entire year? And I was able to get myself a discount by doing that. But I'm only able to do that because any money that I make, I pay myself a very small salary and reinvest the rest of my money in the business side of things. So then I had the finances there in order to do that. But I'm getting this pulled up, for the month of 2020, or for the year of 2026 so far, my total net income because I paid for all those expenses, like they all came out of my account, it was a massive amount, as well as just the normal things that go with running a business. For 2026 so far, between Hacksmarter and Kairos, I have a total net income of negative $20,000. So you can put it into perspective. Now, that sounds a lot worse than it really is, because like I said, I just dropped about $25,000 a few days ago to pay for everything for the entire year, which I know it doesn't sound like it, but it will actually save me money in the long term. But because that came out right at the beginning of the year, I'm literally at negative $20,000 for my net income, my business net income. So that's the biggest challenge, is you need to make sure you have significant financial runway, or I guess you could do the investor route. That's what I didn't want to do. Like, doing everything I do does require a significant amount of money, but a big step that I made, and I've been upfront about this, is I used to work for a company in Seattle, and I made basically a Seattle salary, but I live in rural South Dakota. I don't need all that money, so extra money I saved. I also had some courses that I released back when I was still working full time. I didn't touch any of that money. I invested it straight into my business, and so I had a larger runway, and that's how I'm able to be my own investor, because everything I'm doing does cost like the type of money that you would go to an investor for. It's just that I don't suck at finances, so I was able to save all of that up, and I'm able to self-invest and self-fund everything that I do. But that is the biggest challenge, is finding a balance there. If you look at the cost right now in Hacksmarter, I'm told multiple times every single week by other business leaders, Tyler, you need to raise your prices. And my answer is, why? They'll say, well, your current price point isn't like sustainable when you count everything that you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, you're right. But here's the beautiful thing. I don't just do Hacksmarter. If Hacksmarter was my only thing, you are right. It is not sustainable. Like, I cannot pay all my bills with the current subscription costs and labs and courses. Like, I'm giving it to you almost at cost to me. I couldn't do it. But here's the thing. It's not. I'm also run my own pen testing firm, so I'm able to use that to subsidize Hacksmarter, to keep Hacksmarter cheap and affordable. I'm really passionate about education being accessible and affordable for as many people as possible, and if that means subsidizing Hacksmarter with the stuff I do in the pen testing, I'm fine with that. So for as long as possible, I don't plan on raising prices. I probably can't guarantee that forever, but if you enroll today, like in one of the subscriptions, so if you enroll in one of these subs, the annual sub's only $16 a month for all access, and the annual sub for hands-on labs is only $6 a month if you just want the labs, you're locked in at that rate. So whether it's now or 5 years from now, your rate's not going to increase. It's kind of a special of being an early adopter. All right, now let me scroll up, and I'll eventually get to the most recent questions, but let me hit the ones that I was at before. All right, let's see. Sharif said, I just bought the beginner web app pen test course. Should I study the junior pen test course on THM? Just getting started. I mean, it's up to you. I think you should go through the beginner web app pen test course you just bought. It will cover, I think, a lot of things you'll see on THM, but we'll cover it better, at least on the web app side of things. Scrolling. What's up, Ron Pomodoro? What's up, 0x Bob? Arrived after work. Time to relax a bit. Let's go. Good to see you, my friend. All right, scrolling. See if there's any questions. Good chat overall. Oh, we got Pebble checking in. Dude, Pebble, hello. Thank you for being here. I watched part of your live stream when you you totally freaking unintended pwned the Hacksmarter labs. I appreciate you doing that. The challenge is, as I've shared before, I'm the only paid employee. I do both Hacksmarter and Kairosec. And a lot of the labs are submitted a month or 2 months or 3 months before they're released as they go through our volunteer QA process. And it seems that we missed your NTLM reflection craziness. I think that's what you were doing. I'd have to go watch the labs again. But honestly, do good work. I appreciate you doing that. All right, scrolling. Guided labs like Silver Platter? Not quite. Guided labs like if you go to... Here, I'll show this to you guys. Well, this one's kind of like it. This is a free lab and a free workshop on race conditions. But if you go to like chords misconfigurations here, and a guided lab like this. So if you look at this one, this was a whole guided lab about what cores is and how it matters and how it all works, and then followed by a practical lab challenge that you have to go through and a real lab environment to identify cores misconfigurations. So it's more of like, if you think of a Try Hack Me room, our guided labs are more like that, whereas our challenge labs are just like, hey, here's an IP, hack all the things. So the guided labs are kind of a mix of the two and trying to provide a little more, I don't know, accessibility to those who are newer and beginners and to teach a specific topic. That's what I mean by guided labs. How do you manage the full client communication lifecycle from initial blah, 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 blah? Okay, I don't mean to blah, blah, blah your question, but here's the thing. If you haven't already, one second, let me get logged in. Guys, when I say my Foundations of Web App Pentesting course is like the best pentest course I've ever made, I mean it. And part of it is I answer those kind of questions. So this is the course itself. When you're going through my Foundations of Web App Pentesting course, which by the way, it is 50% off. When you get into Intro to Web App Pentesting, this whole section, how a pen test works, I literally answer your questions that you are commenting there. I explain the whole pen test process. I even give you like my legal documents that I share with clients. They're generic, so you can make them your own, but those are the real legal docs that I use when I'm communicating with clients. So I'll just say, check out the course. I answer all of that in a lot of detail. What's up, Sank? What's up, Hosea? Or Josiah? I don't know how to say your name. M. Buzzy said, would you consider doing a video on some of these new AI agent hacking methods, OpenClaw, Cloud Code, etc.? I'd consider it, but I haven't done it yet. I don't really have the time at this moment to dig into that and to do it justice. I will say that anyone who is telling you that they have an automated pen test, they don't. Not a true pen test. Please create a course about pen test reporting. I have it on the roadmap, my friend. I want to create a mini course on reporting, and I'll probably use the capstone from the web app course. Like, guys, oh my, I'm so excited for you. I should have just done the capstone at the beginning. I'm so excited when you guys are in the course, when you get to the capstone. There is nothing out there like this that I know of. The closest might be OWASP Juice Shop, but I built an entire custom lab. It has a massive amount of features into it. I treat it like a real pen test, and there are at least 27 vulnerabilities in the web app. No flags. No flags. Treat it like a real pen test, and you're allowed to stream it. Like, there's no restrictions. Live stream yourself going through the capstone, finding the different vulnerabilities. I'm actually very curious how long it will take until the community finds all 27 vulnerabilities in this web app. And when you do it, submit it to me. I will feature you on the course page underneath the capstone challenge. But what I want to do is create a pen test reporting like mini course and then use this capstone as the app that we work on and create a full pen test report from it. I think that would be really cool. All right. Harrison said, hey, Tyler, since I am learning Azure and M365 hacking right now, I have had a couple ideas for a lab. Would you be interested in adding the Soon Breach M365 lab to Hacksmarter? I would, but I don't have a good way to spin up the M365 resources. I'm able to do AWS labs because I know how to use Terraform and I have my own AWS sandbox. So if you do our AWS labs, you're actually using my AWS sandbox and I use Terraform to spin up the resources for you. And then I have a script that destroys all of them once a day. I don't know how to do that in M365 environment. So I just don't know what that would look like practically of giving people access to that. But if you know how to do that, then yes, would love it. Sub Zebra. Christian said, hey, I am doing your cloud pen testing course and I found it amazing. Thank you. Well, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate you. All right, answer a few more questions and we'll dive into the hacking. Dinesh said, hi, Tyler. I want to get into web pen testing right now. I am learning the fundamentals of HTML and CSS and I am planning to do the full stack roadmap side by side. I am planning to do some hack the box. I mean, I think you should do the web app course that I just released. I think I'm so biased when I say this, so you have to hear from other people once they go through it. But I think it is significantly more beginner friendly than Hack the Box Academy, and it covers a lot of the same content. Matter of fact, at the end of the course, that's actually what I recommend as a next step. So here's like a spoiler at the end of the course. As far as next steps go, maybe I don't have it in the notes here. But I do recommend the CWES from Hack the Box as a next step. What about Love at First Breach event? Was that worth it? I don't support Try Hack Me. I don't use Try Hack Me. I can't tell you if it was worth it. I'm just going to say no because it's Try Hack Me. Buy Hack the Box so you can put the drawings in the background and Hack the Box. I don't think I can afford to buy Hack the Box. What's the difference between red and blue team? One is attacking and one is defending. Rust Hound CE collects ADCS stuff. It really helps in a pinch. It does. You're right. Rust Hound will, and so will Sharp Hound, if you can run it from Windows. Casey said, hello, Tyler. Planning to attempt OSCP this year, preparing with PMPT and Hack the Box. Some cyber experience, but building confidence. Any advice and note-taking, taking a financial risk, so want to do it right. Join Hacksmarter. I don't just mean the platform. Join our Discord. So if you don't know this about Hacksmarter, we actually started as a Discord and all of that community is still free. We have over 15,000 people in our Discord. We have study groups for the OSCP, CPTS, and that's where I would recommend hanging out. You'll get a good feel for what your weak areas are. You can either click a Discord button at the top of Hacksmarter, otherwise I will drop a link in chat. Oh, hey, Fairy with the super chat. Got to head out for some work. Hopefully, if we're still on after 30 minutes, we'll jump back in. I will still be here. I don't know if you're still here, but thanks for the super chat. Thank you for being here. All right, Jonathan said, I've been writing software for a long while, but the InfoSec space has always seemed interesting to me. How important are certs in this space, and what are the first certs I should pursue? They are important for pen testing, but InfoSec is a massive space. Pen testing specifically, the OSCP, for good or for bad, is still the gold standard in the eyes of HR. If you've been writing software for a long time, though, I bet you could find CVEs and open source software just doing code review. So you could bypass the certification since you have experience writing software if you're able to get CVEs. I have multiple videos on my YouTube channel of how to do CVE hunting. You can check those out. How much would you charge per IP for a pen test? That's not really how you quote a pen test. There's a massive amount of different kinds of pen tests. So it depends on the pen test type. I'll just show you like what we do at Kairosec. We do web apps, APIs, network that's internal, external, AI, LLMs, cloud pen testing, AWS, GCP, and Azure, and social engineering. If you're talking about like a network pen test, you're not generally just quoting out one IP. You quote based on the number of days that the testing is going to take. And a network pen test is not just going to have one IP. You're usually going to have 100, 200, sometimes 1,000 different IPs that are in scope. And so pen test pricing works that you are priced based on the number of days the engagement is going to take. I explained it on my course for what it's worth. Handstander said, I have over a decade of experience as a QA performance engineer in the industry. Now, after a layoff, I'm training to get into cyber. Can I realistically pivot into pen testing, red teaming? Yeah. Dude, I pivoted into pen testing from being a pastor. that's about as like not pen testing as you can possibly get. QA and performance engineer is still technical. You still have that experience. You absolutely can. You can pivot into pen testing, red teaming from any previous career. It's just, are you willing to put in the work and the effort to learn and skill up and get to a place that you need to be? That's only a question you can join. Hey, Tyler, sorry, just joined the live. Would you offer a lifetime sub for a flat fee? I have lifetime subs to all my courses. Do you mean a lifetime sub to everything on Hacksmarter? Probably not. It's just not, it's not a sustainable model when I'm releasing new content every single week. But I mean, all of the courses and Hack With Me's you can buy one time for lifetime access, just not the labs, because I have to pay the hosting costs for those. All right, scrolling. Are you a one-man pen testing firm, Tyler? Basically, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, you can go to my YouTube channel. I see you're watching on Twitch. If you want to see more of my journey, I'll give you the TLDR. I quit my full-time job. I was a lead pen tester at a firm out of Seattle, a well-known firm. I quit that job on October 1st. I actually gave my 2-week notice in the summer, but I told them, like, I know we have a lot of projects, so I stayed on for about 3 months to help them finish out projects before I officially left. But as of October 1st, I no longer work for anyone else. I only work for myself. And as part of that, really my only goal is to make sure I can pay my bills. And I love pen testing and I love teaching. I actually posted on LinkedIn before all of this, like, my dream job is teaching and pen testing. Hopefully I can find someone who will hire me for that. And I had this epiphany, screw it. I'll just hire myself to do teaching and pen testing. So that's sort of how I fell into what I'm doing now. Kairos, I do pen testing. Hacksmarter, I do teaching. But yeah, as of right now, I am the only paid employee. We have a volunteer QA team on Hacksmarter. And then I guess on Kairos, Jerry Ozier, my good friend from Simply Cyber, he is the director of strategy, but he's not like paid a salary or anything. He's paid a percentage when we do sales, and a higher percentage if he is a direct result of that sale. But he's not paid a salary or anything of that nature, and he's not a pen tester at all. So what Jerry does on the pen testing is he helps QA the reports. When the reports are ready for the client, the dude has a PhD, he knows writing, he knows communication, he helps QA those reports. But yeah, other than that, I am a one-man pen testing firm, which is why I don't do red teaming. Red teaming and pen testing aren't the same thing. I've explained it many times. I'm not going to explain it now, but I did red teaming at Rhino where I worked previously. At Kairos, we don't offer red teaming services because red team implies, well, a team. It's hard to be a team of me. Aiden said, hey, I recently passed PT1 on Try Hack Me. Congratulations. That is awesome. The new course you released, would it help with OSCP and bug bounties? It is way more than what you'll ever need for the OSCP on the web app portion. The OSCP's web app stuff is very, very minimal and honestly not realistic. It will help you actually do real pen testing though. And yes, it will help with bug bounties. It's a challenge for most orgs, which make it even more realistic, is what Pebble is saying. I'm guessing is unintended ponage of Hacksmarter Labs. Hey, Tyler, should I apply for a job immediately after passing the OSCP? Dude, you should be applying for jobs all the time. I got my pen testing job before I had the OSCP, for what it's worth. I had the OSCP scheduled like a week after I landed my first pen testing role and then took it and passed it. But you should always be applying. The worst they can say is no. All right, scrolling. Any folks in telecom infrastructure pen testing you know? Not that I know of. I mean, it would depend what you mean by infrastructure. If it's just network stuff, then that's just a network pen test. But if there's like specific telecom craziness, I really don't know. I already answered your question, Dinesh, earlier. Don't ask the same thing. What's the heart monitor graph at the top of your page? That's my heart. It shows my blood pressure as I stream. It's just a CPU usage. I don't know why your Kali doesn't have that. I'm pretty sure it's default Kali behavior. I did not add it up there for what it's worth. Thank you, B. Parker. I heard mobile pen testing is the way to go. No, it's not. Super enjoyable. I freaking hate mobile pen testing. I used to do Android and iOS pen testing. Android's not bad. Guys, iOS pen testing freaking sucks. Unless you pay a bunch of money to Corellium to virtualize it, you need a physical iOS device. They make jailbreaking very difficult. It's like, I remember the first time I finally jailbroke my iPhone that I was using for pen testing, and I was able to SSH into it as root and did who am I root. It was a greater accomplishment than any machine I've ever pwned when I got root on the iPhone. Then I had a repeatable process, but mobile app pen testing is so few and far in between unless you do it all the time. Like, I would do a mobile app pen test every couple of months, and every time I'd have to do it, I'd have to reset up the entire environment, and I always hated my life for at least 2 days while I set it up. So you'll notice at KairosSec, we don't offer mobile pen testing because mobile pen testing absolutely sucks, and now I'm the boss, so I can just tell clients, nope, we don't offer it because it's not worth it to me. No amount of money is worth mobile app pen testing. MD Subin said, all web app pen test course I've seen is trash and outdated. Definitely have to check yours. Guys, mine, like, there's no risk if you go through mine. I don't know of anyone else who does this. All right? Let me just repeat this claim. There's no... I'm trying to think if I am correct on this. I'm almost sure I'm correct when I say this statement. There is no other platform that offers this. There is no other content creator that offers this anywhere. If you find them, tell me, because I'm almost certain nobody else offers this. Probably because it's a stupid idea, but I'm doing it. YOLO. I said, I genuinely believe this is the best beginner-friendly web app pen testing course available. If you go through the modules, complete the labs, and don't feel like a significantly more capable pen tester, just email me. I will refund your money, no questions asked. I'm not here to collect money. I'm here to help you get your first or next job in offensive security. I mean this. If you go through the entire course and by the end you're like, it wasn't worth it, seriously, email me. I will refund you 100% of what you paid for the course. There is no time limit on that, and that's probably where I'm stupid and need to set a time limit on it, but nobody else does that, maybe for good reason. I recognize that there is a small percentage of people who will take advantage of me, but I think that there are far too many grifters who don't even work in offensive security who sell courses to make money off of the community, and those courses are usually super expensive and they don't offer any type of refund, or they offer like a 7-day refund. So I recognize there's a small percentage of people who will take advantage of me, but I think that's worth it for the mass majority of people who themselves have been taken advantage of by course creators. All right, I stand behind the work that we make at Hacksmarter, and I will refund you. Because you have probably been scammed and you have probably been sold a bundle of freaking BS by other content creators and other instructors and other platforms. And I know that because I too have been in your shoes. And so, yes, there's a small percentage of people who will do the course, learn a lot, ask for a refund, and I will give it to them. They will take advantage of me. But most of you have been taken advantage by other platforms. So I think it's worth it. This method, at least for now. We'll see if like a massive amount of people take advantage of me, but I don't think they will. So check it out. Tyler, I can see the score for each lab completion. Where can I find the total score and ranking for labs? There isn't. We talked amongst the Hacksmarter community about that. I'm not a fan of the competitive nature of most other platforms. TryHackMe's leagues are just stupid in general, so their leagues are badly done, in my opinion. Hack the Box is much better done with their leaderboard, but then you still have the highly competitive nature of the lab. So on Hack the Box, you're not allowed to stream any active machines. You can only stream retired machines, and on the active machines, you're technically not allowed to give detailed hints. It's like Yoda speech when you're asking for help with the lab. My opinion is you don't know what you don't know. And I think when you have a highly competitive environment, it does not help a lot of people learn. And if you want to be part of a competitive environment, join Hack the Box. It's there. You can do it. But Hacksmarter is different. I have zero interest in having people compete against each other. I want us to compete alongside of one another. We're all in the same team. That's why when we release a new lab on Hacksmarter, there are no restrictions on hints. There are no restrictions on streaming. There isn't now, there never will be. And there's not a leaderboard because I don't want, number one, please don't put you're in the top 1% of Hacksmarter on your LinkedIn profile. That would just look stupid. But number two, I want you to actually help one another as you are learning and not compete against each other. So when I first release a machine, sometimes we do a little leaderboard that's only live for 4 hours just for fun. But generally speaking, Hacksmarter is not a competitive platform. We're focused on learning and we're focused on community. That's why we don't have a leaderboard. Is it a good idea to do CWE after CWES without CPTS? Up to you. Depends what your end goal is. What certs or trainings help you get into mobile pen testing? Just don't do it. Don't get into mobile pen testing. That's my answer. I got into it just by doing it, like literally. That's how I learned it. I just started doing mobile app pen testing. Master was pen testing demons, exactly. Philly D said, started the web app course last night. Must say it's nicely structured and explained really well. Can't wait to get to the labs. Thank you. What was that job paying you, if you don't mind sharing? When I was working for the firm in Seattle, I was making about $140,000 a year, and all of my health insurance and stuff was paid for my entire family. So that's a significant amount of money on top of that. So I don't even know what my total pay package was, but I right now I make less money than I've ever made in the past about 5 years. By starting my own thing. I pay myself a very small salary and reinvest all the money back into the business. But yeah, I was making really good money at the previous place, but I didn't need that money. So invested some of it, was try to be very generous with a lot of it, and then put a lot of it away. And that's how I'm building Hacksmarter and Kairosec. Hey, Tyler, any tips on time management between a full-time job, a family, on learning ITsec pen testing? Honestly, I don't have good tips. I'll be real with you. I'm still trying to figure this out. One big thing that I'm doing is I have this tendency to basically work the entire day like I work a normal shift. I think routine is very important. If you're ever self-employed, you should set a schedule for yourself. So I work the same shift I've always worked at other jobs. So I work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. during the day. I even am like strict with myself for a lunch break. It's an hour or less. I don't ever extend it. And so I'm very much very disciplined in my work ethic, but then I'm often working every single night as well. And much of the work that I'm doing at night is responding to messages, emails, things of that nature. And just to be honest, working 60 to 70 hours a week is not sustainable. And I've been doing it kind of since I started all this stuff. You can do it for a short season of time. You can sprint, but if you are constantly sprinting, you will destroy yourself. And so I'm trying to pedal back a little bit and not work at night. I'm not there yet, but that's what I'm working towards. And what that means, I realize, is like, instead of me responding to someone within like an hour of them asking a question, it might take 12 hours because I'm going to wait to respond until the morning. And if you're in the Hacksmarter Discord, you may have even noticed this. I had a few people tag me and ask me questions, and they're like, I sent you an email. And I'm always like, hey, I will respond to you in the AM, in the morning. So I'm working on that for myself because I'm no good for me. I'm no good for you. I'm no good for my family if I burn myself out in this process. And so, yeah, I say all of that, Spiegelfetcher, if I'm saying your name right, that I actually don't have that figured out, and I'm still trying to figure it out actively. How do you see AI affecting the cybersecurity arena, replacing human work? I see it automating some things. I don't see it replacing like pen testers. How hard is the OSCP? Depends on the person. I didn't find the OSCP very difficult. I passed it in my first attempt in 8 hours. I only know the time because I literally made a video called that. I didn't think the OSCP was that hard, but it depends on the person. It's technically an entry-level pen testing certification. Tyler, would you offer a path for Hacksmarter subs to learn and have an opportunity to work with or be employed by Kairosec? I don't know. I don't know if I ever want to hire someone for Kairosec, to be fully transparent with you. The moment you add employees, you increase complexity like 100-fold for a typical organization. When you add employees to a pen testing firm, it's even more so. There's a lot of legal work that goes into pen testing. So I carry different kinds of insurance for myself and Kairosec, and it's like up to $1 million policy. I have, general liability, professional liability, cyber insurance, and probably some other things I'm missing. That stuff adds up as you add more employees, so that's a big part of it. Another thing is, like, I'm still working on paying myself a salary, and I'm not going to pay other people salaries. Another thing is the time component of it. If I was to hire someone from Hacksmarter to learn and have an opportunity to work and be employed by Kairosec, what that tells me is it would take a significant amount of time for me to have you shadow and for me to train you on how to do pen testing. Not that big of a deal in a bigger firm, but like, I literally don't have the time to do that. Like, not even close. I'm maxed out on time now. I don't have more time that I can give to people to train and teach them. And then the other thing is that your work is going to be reflected under the Kairosec brand. And I'm very protective of that. So right now, if a client goes with Kairosec and gets a pen test, I know the pen test is going to be really, really well done and exceed their expectations because I'm doing the pen test. I know that sounds a little bit arrogant, but like, it's true. Any client who has worked with Kairosec, they will tell you that we are above and beyond most firms they've ever worked with. Like, I go above and beyond the pen testing, the reporting, the communication, the customer service. And when I have somebody else operating underneath that brand doing pen testing, my experience is a lot of people think they can pen test and they're actually terrible at it, or they're terrible at communicating. And I don't know. At this season, I don't want to deal with the headache of hiring people for Kairosec. If anything, if I had a big project, I'd bring on a contractor for a one-time project, but it would not be someone that's learning. I would need someone that can hit the ground running, who has extensive pen test experience. So that's probably not what you're looking for, but that's my answer currently. Will that change in the future? Potentially, hopefully, probably. But will it change right now? No. Just because of the season that the business is in. 4G, 5G, nodes, AMF, SMF. Where should I learn? I have no idea where to learn that stuff. Wow, so many good questions. We're at the hour mark, guys. We need to get into the hacking. I'll answer a few more questions. Hey, Tyler and community. Today we had a brute force incident where an attacker used valid usernames on a dev box which had RDP mistakenly open. How would an attacker enumerate valid credentials? There's a bunch of different ways to enumerate valid credentials. I would need to know more information about your organization. But that could be as simple as using dhashed and finding valid credentials that way. I finished the course and want my refund. Thanks. This is not a real user. All right, guys, we are at the 1 hour mark. And my sponsor told me that at every hour I have to play a short 1-minute video from the sponsor. So this comes from my boss. My boss is kind of a douchebag. He made this video. And so please entertain my boss by watching this video for a minute, and then we'll go back to the Q&A. So here's a word from my boss. Dude is a jerk. I want to teach you how to become a real hacker. Not what you see in Hollywood, not just running scripts off the internet, but I want to teach you how to do real hacking against real web applications in such a way that you get paid for it, but also, number 2, you do it legally. I don't want you to go to prison. And I do this for my day-to-day. I started my own pen testing company called Kairosec, where I hack companies every single day for a living. I get paid to do it, and that's how I pay my bills. And I also have my own training platform called Hacksmarter, where I teach you how to do the very thing, but I release all of my labs, all of my courses, incredibly affordable. Well, in this web app pen testing course, I cover first what exactly is web app pen testing, how does the web actually work, but then we go through what is a pen test. I share with you the legal documents that I use with real clients when I hack their environment so that I don't go to prison. I encourage you to take those and make them your own. And then we go through a full web app pen test, and I explain every single thing I do to hack into some of the largest organizations in the world today. At the end, I have a custom capstone challenge with a full web app with 27 vulnerabilities for you to find. No flags, use the methodology that you learned in the class to find those. Here's the thing. If you go through this course, you do all the labs, and if by the end you are not a significantly more skilled, ethical hacker, shoot me an email. I will refund you 100% of whatever you paid for the course. That's how much I believe that this course can positively transform your life, positively transform your career, and take you to the next level. So what are you waiting for? Go to hacksmarter.org today, enroll in the course, hack all the things. I will see you there. Now, let me tell you guys about Raid Shadow Legends. I'm just playing. Thank you for watching that. And if you haven't already bought the course, or buy the course. All right, more questions. Prathme said, hey, Tyler, I'm a fresher in this field and really want to go for offensive security for cloud, but can't get a starting point. So can you help me? If you are fresh in this field, you need to build a solid foundation before learning ethical hacking. I recommend studying for the CompTIA A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus to build that foundation, even if you don't take the certs. Go through all the learning material. From there, start a platform like Hacksmarter and begin learning the hacking side of things. I find the Hack the Box AD module confusing. Which of your AD course volume should I take? To be very clear, I don't have AD courses, at least right now. What I do have are these Hack With Me's, which are like guided hacking together. Just take all of them. I mean, the first, three? These first two are pay what you can starting at $0. This is pay what you can for Windows starting at $0. And then this is $19, but it comes with 2 labs and 40 hours of lab time. So, I don't know, do the free ones first. See what you think. And if you like it, do the paid one. Hey, Tyler, I'm on the road for ECPPT as I already paid for it, but I really want to join your community and courses. Do you recommend taking the all access year, even if you won't be able to review it for at least the next 2 months? It's up to you. I can't tell you what to do or not to do. I will say if you enroll in the year access right now, you get locked in at this rate. I don't know when you plan on doing it, next 2 months. This price is going to go up within the next 2 months. This annual rate, I can't I can't really sustain it at that price point, but for now it is that price point. So it's not going to go up massively, but it will go up within the next 2 months, the annual rate here. Whereas if you enroll now, you are locked in at that rate. But I can't tell you whether or not it's a wise investment when you have the other courses and stuff going on. That's a decision only you can make. Am I doing any LLM pen testing at Kairos or AI red teaming? Yes, we offer LLM pen testing. 0x Bob said, I'm in for Zen hacking, chill and no competition. Exactly. LinkedIn user said, considering purchasing the TCM pen testing bundle as they have a sale until 1st of March. Would you consider these? I have time to knuckle down and get them down. Yeah, all of the content from TCM is top tier. Which topic would you put your time into this year in order to better position yourself in the market? Definitely web app. Definitely. I made a short a while ago, this is probably a year ago, about how web app skills are some of the best skills that you can develop to become a junior pen tester. This isn't true about all firms, but from my experience, most firms, the majority of the service types they do are web apps because every organization has a web application, it's internet facing, has the largest attack surface, and it's often the most affordable pen test for someone just trying out pen testing. So if you have strong web app pen testing skills, you have a much higher chance of landing a role as a junior pen tester. Yeah, so MD subhand, that's why on Hacksmarter we're not focused on competition. Are your labs similar in difficulty to the pro labs in Hack the Box? Will they help with CPTS exam prep? They will help with CPTS exam prep. I know that because many of the box creators have the CPTS, and they specifically said it's like, and other people have said it helps a lot with CPTS exam prep. Go, if you want, like, guys, obviously, if you ask me a question about Hacksmarter, my answer is going to be biased. I think Hacksmarter is the best platform in the world. But if you want like less bias, go join the Discord and just ask. Say what cert you're studying for and ask, like, is Hacksmarter, are the labs a good thing for your cert? I think you'll get some good answers. You might even get people saying no, legit. So you can ask me questions, but just like consider the source. I'm the founder of Hacksmarter. I'm going to say it's the best platform in the world. If you want a less biased opinion, ask on Discord or even ask on Reddit. People chat about it on Reddit as well. So just keep that in mind. I do think my answers are correct, but obviously I'm the founder. Is there a way to gift Hacksmarter subscriptions? There is. There's not like a good, whoops, freaking A, I hit the wrong thing. There's not a, come on. Sorry. Let me get this pulled up. There's not a way like on Hacksmarter, here's how to buy a gift voucher. Maybe I'll eventually add that. I don't know. But for now, you can give on Ko-Fi. So give whatever, the amount of whatever voucher, whether it's a course or a subscription, give that amount and then just specify in your message what you want me to do with it. I'll email you and follow up with you and I can send you the vouchers of whatever you bought and then you can give those vouchers away. But that'd be the way to buy like essentially a gift certificate is via Ko-Fi. All right, scrolling. What about giving me an internship at Kairosec? No job, no. An internship program. Keep in mind, that's also a massive amount of work to do a proper internship program, and I still have to cover insurance for you and all of that information. I do not have more time to give. Zero. Tapped out. Can't do an internship as a result. LinkedIn user, I apologize. Restream and LinkedIn don't like each other, but the LinkedIn user said, besides your great content, you responded urgently to my non-urgent ticket. Greatly appreciated. Thank you. I don't know which person was you since it doesn't show me your name, but I'm glad my response time was good. All right, scrolling. Hey, 2K Zevin said, I just purchased the annual sub. Great channel. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate the support. Wow, I made it. What's up, Schlop, Aaron Kumar? Guys, fun thing about Aaron. All right, Aaron Kumar is Schlop. If you've heard the Schlop name before over on Discord. The first time I realized his name was Aaron is he scheduled a meeting with me to record for the Schlop show. And he scheduled this meeting with me, and I was looking at my calendar, and I was like, who the frick is Aaron? How did they get my calendar, and why did they schedule a meeting with me? And I responded to their email. I was like, I don't know who you are, but I don't know what we're meeting about, and I don't know how you got my calendar. Like, I'm canceling the meeting because I don't know you, and I realized it was Schlop, but I only knew him as Schlop, and I was like, oh, wait, you're Aaron? And it made sense, but thank you. I appreciate you, my friend. All right. LinkedIn user said, thanks, Todd, for answering the questions. I'll be working through your courses along my learning journey. Thank you. I waited for our web app course so that I can prepare for my job. You got it. So Computer Guy Dre said this, Hacksmarter for OSCP is tough because the Hacksmarter boxes are fun, realistic, and interesting, but a lot of the OSCP practice boxes are CTF-like and really dumb. More practice doesn't hurt, though. This is true. The focus of Hacksmarter, to the best of our ability, is realism. OSAP is very CTF-like. Like, I've talked to people who are incredibly skilled pen testers who struggle massively with the OSCP because they go into it and they're trying to use real-world like methodology, which would make sense, but it doesn't apply to the OSCP. So you do have to study the OSCP in the way the OSCP wants you to study for it. Zen said, as new in cybersecurity, should I go into junior SOC analyst or junior pen tester? If you are new to cybersecurity, you have a much better job of getting a junior SOC analyst role as a starting point rather than a junior pen tester role. I'm a hacker. That's how I got the calendar. This guy. All right, y'all. I am unusually tired today. Shall we play a game? Shall we do some hacking? We do an AMA for over an hour. I don't know how long I'll stream today. I still have, check my email right now. Let's see how behind I get. Just streaming, I get behind on emails and messages. What is this? All right. Guys, it'll be hilarious. When I do my little promo video for my web app course, it should really begin with your typical, let me tell you about Raid Shadow Legends, and then have a video game of Raid Shadow Legends for like a split second, but then it cuts out to my web app course. I would laugh. I'm probably the only one who would laugh, but I would laugh at that. All right, let's go ahead and get things ready to do some hacking. Now, for those of you new to my live streams, it's during my live streams that I also make my standalone videos for YouTube. And so, number one, if you're not a subscriber on YouTube, what are you doing with your life? Let me drop a link to the YouTube. If you just search for my name on YouTube, though, you'll be able to find me. But that's where I drop all of my standalone shorter videos, and I make most of those while I'm live streaming. And what I do when we're working through a machine from the Hacksmarter platform is I'll hit record over on OBS, and I solve the machine in multiple different parts, and I aim for about 15 to 20 minute segments as we solve that machine. And I try to give my full methodology, thought process, all of that good stuff. Give me just a moment. I'm going to get everything ready for this machine. We're going to be doing Midgard in 2. I'll drop a direct link in just a moment. Let me just go. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. What's up, Mr. X01? Good to see you, my friend. A lot of the older Hack the Box boxes are also CTF-like and gimmicky. Yeah, I mean, it's just the nature of the game. I think their newer ones, though, are definitely really solid. I'm a big fan of Hack the Box. Just, they don't get to buy Hacksmarter. That's all I can say. But I'm a big fan of them. As an organization, I think, like, here's what I'll say. Look at the Glassdoor reviews for Try Hack Me, and then look at the Glassdoor reviews for Hack the Box, and you tell me which organization you want to support. I think how an organization treats their employees is the one that you should support. The one that treats their employees good, and the one that treats their employees terrible, don't support them. Very simple philosophy. Anyways, hey, if you want to follow along, once again, head out to hacksmarter.org, click Hands-On Labs right here. See? You see it? Hands-On Labs, click it. It'll bring you down to the labs. I'm solving this in order that they are released. Are these streams recorded and available on YouTube? Yep, they're all always available on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, this is kind of confusing that YouTube made this change, but if you go out to YouTube and go to my YouTube channel, you notice that there's a few different tabs here. If you want to see the full recordings of previous live streams, all you have to do is make sure you hit the live tab. If you hit the live tab, you can see full recordings, right? So like here was when I roasted everyone's personal brand, a 3-hour live stream then, another 3-hour live stream before that. So like the full recordings of the live streams are always available on YouTube. And then the shorter like standalone videos are here on the video tab. I mean, you can see those here. And then, I mean, I don't really make too many YouTube shorts. Look at that thumbnail. Look at that guy. That's a beautiful thumbnail. But if you want to see the YouTube shorts, you can click this. I didn't realize that's how my thumbnail looked. That's very beautiful. But yes, that's how you can watch the full recordings of all this stuff. All right. Here is what you need to do if you want to follow along. Where are we at? We just solved welcome. And so we're going to do Midgard 2. So if you want to follow along, go ahead. Wait, I didn't check. Do I have it yet? No. So I think this one must have been solved by our QA team because I don't have the flags in here. And actually, I need to update this machine itself. Our machines used to be active 12 hours after you launch it. They're not anymore. I actually have them so they time out after 2 hours if there's no activity. I'm actually going to edit this machine in real time and just fix that note real quick while I'm thinking of it. Oh, shoot. Is there another thing? Oh. All right, let me go to, what did I say? Midgard 2? You guys can watch it. I'll show you the magic of how I edit this stuff. Look at it. Would you just look at it? All right, note from Tyler, we can remove that. There we go. All right, that's cool. Oh, guys, there's another cool thing that I think will help with confusion. Let me fix something real quick on this machine. Oh, pretend like you guys didn't see that, okay? Change this to VPN. Hit update. Okay, I think that will update the system. I better stop sharing my screen before I reveal like something sensitive. I'll show you what I was doing in just a moment. It'll make sense. Okay. Almost done. Geez, does this one require custom exploit dev? Because I saw a Windows dev machine that was optional. I might have to boot up my Windows machine when we get to that point. Almost ready, guys. Making one more small adjustment to the machine. Okay. 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 Here we go. So what's going to happen in just a moment? Actually, I need to blow out these candles. I have candles on, and they've been on for like 3 hours, and I don't want to burn my house down. One moment. You guys can watch me. Like, Guys, I was going to grab the candles and blow it out so you guys could watch like ASMR stuff, but I burned my finger. All right. Back to the actual hacking. What's going to happen now is once we get everything going, I'm going to start recording a standalone video for YouTube. So it'll be a little bit weird for those of you who are watching the live stream because I'm going to re-welcome everybody. But that's just for the people watching it after the fact. You guys get to be in the live studio audience. I have my PMPT exam soon. Any advice? Go through the course. Make sure your notes are good. PMPT is good because it's realistic. It's not CTFE. I've tried Jenkins Attack Pass using Hack the Box and real world engagements and was surprisingly successful. Yes, especially on an internal pen test. How often do you script or code in real engagements? It depends what I'm working on. Like when I had a few LLM pen tests back to back, then I scripted something to do automatic fuzzing of LLM stuff. So I'll do that, but I mean, it depends what you're doing. Generally, you're not doing a lot of scripting and coding during the actual engagement. You might do it after the engagement. I'll give you actually a real world example of this. Back when I worked at Rhino, I did an AWS pen test that required enumerating. Let me find the blog I wrote. Yes. See, wrote by yours truly. I did an AWS pen test and the client was using what's called Elastic Beanstalk. And I had to manually enumerate the stupid Elastic Beanstalk instances. And so I couldn't script this out, obviously, when I was doing the application. But once I finished it, and I think I even mentioned this in the blog, I said, after launching Paku, I searched for modules related to Beanstalk and found nothing to help with the engagement. I then spent the next few hours reading through AWS documentation to understand the API calls required for Elastic Beanstalk. Refusing to do this manually the next time, I started developing an Elastic Beanstalk Paku module to save me and you hours on the next AWS pen test. And so I ended up scripting out a custom module for Paku called Elastic Beanstalk Enum that what took me a bunch of time to do manually. I then made it so Paku could auto-magically do it for me, pull out all the environment configurations and things of that nature. And so that's often when I am on an engagement, I find something I do manually that honestly pisses me off, and then I figure out a way to automate it. But I don't usually have time to do that during the actual engagement. So for this one, I manually enumerated Beanstalk for the client, but then I created this, and I created a Cloud Goat scenario that demonstrates this. I don't remember if I've added this to Hacksmarter. If I haven't yet, it will be coming soon. Like, you'll be able to actually launch this from Hacksmarter. You won't have to self-host it. Let's see. Nope, I just have SNS secrets. But soon, that Beanstalk secret scenario that I made, I will have it so it's hosted on Hacksmarter for you if you want to give it a spin. But that would be my answer to that question. Hopefully that's helpful. What's up, Sank Logic? All right, here's what is going to be amazing. All right, I still need to update the other images for this. But for those of you who have used Hacksmarter for any length of time, one pain point, especially for new users, is they don't know how to connect to the machine. Because what would happen is it would launch the machine and connect would be grayed out, and it would say like browser-based systems are not enabled for this. And so it says, hey, you have to click systems and download the VPN for connectivity. But that's just a little bit, that's an extra step, right? That you don't want people to have to do. So what we have now is you see this connect button before it would error out. You can actually now download the VPN config directly from there. So you don't have to go to systems and then download and do all that stuff. You can just do connect and download the VPN config. So we just added that. I hope that makes the pain a little bit easier for you. So let me go ahead and grab that. Although it gave me my... I wonder if I just discovered a bug with it. It gave me my creator VPN, which should be fine, but I don't know if the creator VPN is actually going to work for this machine. It should have given me the VPN for the machine. I'm actually very curious now because I may have just discovered a bug. Yeah, I think I did. How am I doing mmap? Mmap. Yes, I did discover a bug. Okay. I will ping the CoreStack team. I don't think this will actually affect any of you. I'm pretty sure it's only a bug that will affect me because what it's trying to do is default to my backend VPN account when I'm creating machines. But you'll notice I'm logged into my actual like student Hacksmarter account, but it's the same account. So I don't think any of you will have this problem, only me, for good or for bad. All right, let's get on the VPN. And see, now I have connectivity. Beautiful. All right, before I start recording, let me jump over to Hacksmarter. Let me make a directory for Midgard 2. We'll CD into it. I'm going to stop sharing my screen as well for just a moment while I get logged into Notion for all of our notes. And hey, guys, you will learn a lot by watching me. You'll learn even more by hacking alongside of me. So seriously, if you haven't already, subscribe to Hacksmarter so you have access to all of our labs and launch this lab. Literally hack alongside of me, hands on the keyboard as I go. Put me on a side monitor like you and I are hanging out at DEF CON in the chill out room and we're working on a machine together, all right? Don't just watch me, hack with me. That is the best way that you are going to learn. All right, let me go over to, not that, labs, on-prem. Scroll down, new machine. Midgard 2. All right, I guess I can share my screen now. I'm just getting everything ready for Notion. And then this on OBS. Get all this ready on OBS's side. So a lot that goes into this, guys. If you can't tell. Just doing a simple stream. You think it would be simple, but... All right. I think we are ready to hack all the things. So last reminder, you should hack with me. Head out to hacksmarter.org. Click Hands-on Labs. And we are doing Midgard 2. Where the frick? Right here. This one right here. I'll even drop a full link to it. So, hack with me. What's up, Zach? Good to see you. All right, y'all. I do have to play in the promo for my web app course one more time. But that's just because I'm going to play it as part of the standalone video. I'm not actually trying to spam you guys with it again. It'll be in the recording, that's why. Drink of water, welcome. And then I'm guessing the first video, we're just going to be focused on enumeration. Once again, we aim for 15 to 20 minutes. Oh, also, if you guys have any questions about what I'm doing, like while I'm doing it, as I work on solving the machine, my cat just hit the freaking camera. Cat, chill, dog. If you guys have any questions on the machine itself, feel free to ask it and I will answer it while I am recording. If you just have like a general question about careers or something, you can ask it, but I'm not going to answer it until I'm done recording, and then I'll answer it after we record the first 15 to 20 minute segment. Capiche? Capiche. My cat wants to make an appearance, though. Hi, kitty. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start recording for YouTube. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. This is now, well, me and my cat's YouTube channel. He wanted to make an appearance at the start of the recording. He says, hello, everyone. Jeez, he's running into the microphone. But hey, this is part one of working through the Midgard 2 machine from the Hacksmarter platform. And hey, you'll learn a lot by watching me. You'll learn even more by hacking alongside of me. So if you haven't already, join Hacksmarter, launch Midgard 2, jump on the VPN, and get ready to hack all of the things. Hey, before we dive into the video, I do want to share a word from, well, myself. Guys, I just released my web app pen testing course, and it is 50% off, 50 for a limited time. Check out this video, and then we will dive into the hacking. I want to teach you how to become a real hacker. Not what you see in Hollywood, not just running scripts off the internet, but I want to teach you how to do real hacking against real web applications in such a way that you get paid for it, but also number two, you do it legally. I don't want you to go to prison. And I do this for my day-to-day. I started my own pen testing company called Kairosec, where I hack companies every single day for a living. I get paid to do it, and that's how I pay my bills. And I also have my own training platform called Hacksmarter, where I teach you how to do the very thing, but I release all of my labs, all of my courses, incredibly affordable. Well, in this web app pen testing course, I cover first what exactly is web app pen testing, how does the web actually work, but then we go through what is a pen test. I share with you the legal documents that I use with real clients when I hack their environment so that I don't go to prison. I encourage you to take those and make them your own. And then we go through a full web app pen test, and I explain every single thing I do to hack into some of the largest organizations in the world today. At the end, I have a custom capstone challenge with a full web app with 27 vulnerabilities for you to find. No flags, use the methodology that you learn in the class to find those. Here's the thing. If you go through this course, you do all the labs, and if by the end you are not a significantly more skilled ethical hacker, shoot me an email. I will refund you 100% of whatever you paid for the course. That's how much I believe that this course can positively transform your life, positively transform your career, and take you to the next level. So what are you waiting for? Go to hacksmarter.org today, enroll in the course, hack all the things. I will see you there. All right, well, let's go ahead and dive in. The other thing you might notice is there is chat above my head. I make all of these videos while I'm live streaming, and I live stream all of the time. So if you've never joined me for a live stream, you are missing out. Right now, there are about 90 people in the live studio audience, and you could be one of them if you would have subscribed and hit the bell notification so that you're notified the next time I am live. All right, let's go ahead and dive into this lab. Here is Midgard 2. Now, I don't think I have actually solved this lab yet. It was tested by our QA team. So what that means is I will do my best to give you my raw methodology, my note-taking process. I'll give you advice for real-world pen test, and I'm sure I'll also get stuck and maybe look at a walkthrough. This is a hard-rated machine, so we'll see how we do together. Maybe between all 90 of us, we'll be able to figure out a way to solve this machine. But this is just video number 1. We'll be focusing on enumeration. So what is our objective? It looks like it's assumed breach as well, which is very real world. Our objective is this. As a member of the Hacksmarter Red Team, we have been assigned to this engagement to conduct a comprehensive pen test of the client's internal environment. The client has a mature security posture and has previously undergone multiple internal pen testing engagements. Given our team's advanced expertise in ethical hacking, the primary objective of this assessment is to identify attack vectors that may have been overlooked in prior engagements. And as I said before, we are given credentials for an assumed breach scenario, and that is very realistic. Most of the time when you're doing an internal network pen test, the client does provide you with credentials. They give you low-level Active Directory credentials so that you don't waste time trying to gain those initial set of credentials. It is dependent on the client, but from my experience, most internal engagements now are assumed breach. So I like that we have some credentials that we are working with. Before we hack all the things, let's go ahead and get our note set up. I like to use Notion. I'm going to do an H1 for enumeration and then an H2 for Nmap, and we'll drop our port scan here once we finish the port scan. And let's go ahead and kick off that scan and let it run in the background. So I'm going to grab the IP, go over to my terminal, and I'm going to use Rust scan. I'll explain the flags in just a moment. But Rust scan, you could just use Nmap. If you are a beginner, though, I think Rust scan is easier to remember the syntax. But we do Rust scan -A and we pass it our target. This is our target this time. And then what I like about Rust scan is we can combine both Rust scan and Nmap. Geez, I'm tripping over my words all of a sudden. So first part of this is saying, hey, Rust scan, what I want you to do is scan all of the ports that are open on our target machine. And then we're saying, hey, all the open ports that you find, I want you to pass it over to our friend Nmap. And hey, Nmap, what I want you to do is scan each open port with the -A flag. If you know your Nmap flags, you know that means throw all of the different enumeration scripts at it. So this is a very quick one-liner that will give you a good lay of the land, at least as far as what ports are open and what is running on each port as you begin an engagement or a CTF or an exam. Now, we know this because it is in the Active Directory category, but if we did not know it, we can tell just based on the ports that are open that this is likely an Active Directory environment, and we are likely targeting the domain controller. The reason for that is we can see DNS is running, we have Kerberos running, we have SMB running, although that could just be running on your typical server. We see LDAP running, we have RDP running. So services that are very Windows specific, and then extra services that are very domain controller specific. So if we didn't know that already, we are dealing with a Windows machine, and we are likely dealing with a domain controller. We also have our starting credentials. So I'm going to grab these starting credentials and just add them to our notes. I think I'll just put them up here in a code block. And if you're wondering how I'm doing those code blocks so quickly in Notion, it is 3 backticks on your keyboard. 3 backticks will drop it into a code block, and then you can drop your code in there. So we have our in-map enumeration. The other thing that I want to look at, because we know SMB is available, is let's look at SMB. Let's see if there's any shares that we're able to look at. I'm just going to call it SMB/shares. And knowing that we have credentials here, what we're able to do, open up a new tab, call it terminal. We can use netexec to get a feel for what shares we might have access to as our initial starting user. So we'll do netexec SMB. I don't actually know the name of the domain controller or even the domain. So I'm just going to grab the IP. We'll do -u and grab our user from our notes. Just keep alt-tabbing to the wrong things. -p, and we want to give it our user's password. Like so, and --shares to see what shares we might have access to. And I can actually see a few things already. So number one, we can see this yggdrassil.hacksmarter. That must be the domain that we are dealing with. So we can add that to Etsy host, and we are able to confirm that our user does have valid credentials, and we don't have access to anything interesting. I do see a scripts share, which, if you see this in a pen test, always worth digging into. I am not joking. On a somewhat recent internal engagement, I was able to find credentials in a script, like a PowerShell script for a service account. That service account had DC sync privileges, and it was game over just by looking at SMB shares and looking at PowerShell scripts and secrets that were stored in those PowerShell scripts. So always worth looking into. But in this case, we do not have read access to the scripts share yet, but we'll want to keep that in mind. If we compromise another user, we'll want to double check again. They might have access to scripts. Maybe we can use it for lateral movement or privilege escalation later on. But I'm going to grab this full syntax right here and just drop it in there. And before I move on, now that we know that this is the name of the domain that we are dealing with, I'm going to grab that and just copy it and add it to my Etsy host so that it resolves the IP and the domain. So we'll do sudo nano Etsy host. Go down to the bottom here. Paste it in like so. And then I need to grab the IP. Paste in the IP and tab that over. There we go. And now if we ping, actually, I don't know if a ping will work because I think Windows Fire. Oh, no, it does work. Sweet. So now we can ping it by the name of the domain and not just the IP. yggdrassil. I'm totally going to forget that. Okay, and if we jump back over to our scans, you can see that Rust scan is done, and now it's running that in-map scan. So that should be done shortly, and we'll be able to take a look at the results. All right, so in-map we're waiting on. SMB shares, we don't have access to any interesting shares, but you know what we are able to do is we can go ahead and see if there's any users that have passwords in the description field of Active Directory. This is something, once again, I notice in real-world pen testing. Look at that. I think I just saw it. Unless it's our current user. I don't think it is. This is something I notice when I'm doing real-world Active Directory, is you will occasionally see that a system admin, for either ease of use or someone keeps forgetting their password or they set a temp password, but they will set a password in the description box of the AD object, and we can use --users with netexec to dump all of those users, and that's what we're looking for. Either a list of users, which we want as well, but then we also have this password right here It says a temp password for Thor. So Thor could have changed their password, but that does say, hey, this is some type of temp password. Maybe we can do some password spraying with that. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this information and drop this into my notes as well. And we'll say looking at users. And notice that we have it right here, a temp password for the Thor user. I'm just going to add that. We discovered password for Thor being stored in the AD description. We'll paste that in right there. I'm just going to actually delete all of this just so we have the username and password. Easier that way. And before I get ahead of myself, I also want to create a user list. We can do it, I think, with SMB, but with LDAP, it gives you a nicer format, but I always forget the syntax. If you're ever working with NetExec, they have an excellent wiki that will remind you of all the syntax things that you need to know. So on this, if we go to LDAP protocol, enumerate domain users, here's what I want to do, users export. So we can get a list of all these users. So I'm going to go to the beginning, and instead of SMB, we're going to do LDAP, and then we'll go to the end. And I think it was users export, right? Users export, and I'm just going to say users.text. And if I cat users.text, now we have a list of all the users that exist. So I don't think I need to add that to my notes. It was mainly just to get a user list so that we now have a valid user list. These are all valid domain accounts on the domain controller that we are attacking. And let's jump back over. I know a lot of enumeration is jumping from thing to thing to thing. You can notice that our scans are done now. We'll come back to the SMB and the password spraying. But let's go ahead and add all of this information to our notes if I can copy it. YGG Drazzle is a tree from the Nordic mythology. Oh, that's cool. I didn't even realize that. Must have been why Nox Lumens named it that. That's very cool. Does it have anything to do with a garden? Because I noticed the machine is called Midgard 2. It's like, is that a garden of something? Is it a tree in a garden in Nordic mythology? I bet that's why it's called Midgard 2, right? The puzzles are connecting to my brain now. All right, let's jump back over to InMap and just drop in our results here and see if there's anything that really stands out to us. Going to very quickly glance through here. If we didn't already know, we know that we're dealing with this domain, but we know that from before. And we also know the full name of the domain controller, midgarddc.yggdrazzle.hacksmarter. I'm going to go ahead and copy that and also add that to Etsy hosts. So let's get that done. Just like that. And now if we ping Midgard DC dot, YGG Drazzle. Okay, cool. I actually did spell it out correctly. And then we can ping it. Okay, nothing else super interesting here. Besides, if we are able to get RDP access, we can RDP into the domain controller. We're looking at users. We discovered the temp password for Thor being stored in the AD description. And I'm going to do an H2, and I'm just going to call this password spraying. We'll see if we can get an easy win, right? We have a list of users, and we have a potential password. I just want to see if we get an easy win by spraying this password against those accounts, and maybe we can compromise a second user and do some lateral movement right away. And we'll see what we're able to do. Password spraying with NetExec is super easy. I do want to say, though, if you are in a real-world environment, you want to be careful when you're doing password spraying. Generally, you don't want to do it back-to-back ever. If you do it once every, I don't know, hour or so, depending on the password policy, you'll be safe. But just don't be the pen tester that locks out all the domain accounts. I'll do NetExec SMB. Guys, my freaking cat, when he was on my lap, somehow got hair in my mouth. Dang cats. We'll do -u, and we're going to give it our users.text that we compiled. -p is going to be that temporary password that we found. And what it's going to do is try to log into each one of those users with this password to see if any of those users are using this default password for their accounts. Oh, we're getting a net BIOS timeout. That's interesting. Oh, but we were able to compromise a user. Weird. So I don't normally see NetBIOS connection with remote host timed out. It seems like it was just timing out on the authentication, but it looks like it did work for Thor. So it was Thor's temp password, but it would appear Thor never updated his password. And note that it also gives us access to the scripts share that we're able to check out and see what information is there. So I'm going to grab all of this right here and just add it to our notes showing what we were doing with password spraying. And I'm going to go ahead and make another, we'll do an we'll do an H1 and we'll say compromising Thor account. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a net exec showing that we have access to Thor's account. I'm going to do an up and I'm just going to change the user to Thor like so. Just so we have something better for our screenshot showing that we were able to successfully do lateral movement and we have our starting credentials, but now we have compromised a second user account. And note that this user account has access to the scripts share, which is definitely going to be something worth digging into. But guess what? Believe it or not, time flies when you are having fun. We are at the 16-minute mark, so I am going to call this the end of part 1 of working through Midgard and 2, and I think we're at a really good stopping point as well. So at this point in time, we have done a lot of enumeration together. We got our notes set up. We did password spraying. We compromised a second user, and that second user has access to that scripts share that I thought might be interesting. So I want you to try it from here. Go ahead and launch Midgard 2, and you now have access to Thor's account. Begin digging into that script share, maybe do some Bloodhound enumeration, and see what you're able to find, and see if you can make it further in this machine. If you get stuck, that's totally fine. Join me in the next video for part 2, and we'll continue working through this lab together. So hey, until next time, hack smarter, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, live stream people. I'm not leaving, so all of you stay here. We'll keep recording. Alan said, yes, looks like the creator of this machine likes Nordic mythology. Midgard, Freya, Thor, YGG Dressel. That makes sense. Okay, thank you. That connects the pieces for me. Dopakel, if I'm saying that correct, said, hey, I'm looking to begin getting into cybersecurity and hacking, but I have almost zero knowledge and a bit overwhelmed. Where do I even begin? First of all, you don't begin with cybersecurity or hacking. You need to build a solid foundation. Steps. Let me find this and I'll show you the mistake that most people make and that you are probably making. It's a great meme for this. Now, I'm not saying noob as like a derogatory remark. We're all noobs in our own way, but far too many people do this, right? You skip computer networks, you skip all this foundations, and then you just like YOLO it into ethical hacking, and then you end up very confused. So I do not recommend learning ethical hacking as the first thing that you learn. You want to build a strong foundation in IT first. There's different ways that you can do this. What I think are good starting points are CompTIA's A+, well, the trifecta. So if you look up the CompTIA trifecta, it's the A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus. Now, I'm not even saying you need to get these certifications, but you should do the training for them. Dion training is a good one that I believe all of his training is free, or at least it was when I did it. And another good resource is Professor Messer. Professor Messer has free training for the A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus, but I would go through all of this training and it will give you a solid foundation in general IT principles, and then you can begin learning about ethical hacking. But since you just said you are a complete beginner, do not dive into hacking as the first thing that you learn. You're going to feel very lost. You're honestly going to give up and quit because it's going to be very confusing. You want to build that solid foundation first. Oh, Pebble said that's standard with Windows 11 stuff. Add SMB timeout 10. Got it. Good to know. All right. I'll give you guys another chance. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Otherwise, I'm going to record another part. We'll start recording part 2. How am I doing on time? It's almost noon. Yeah, I do have a pen test scoping meeting coming up, but I think we can record at least another part. And then I'm going to jump off, grab something to eat, and then I have to get ready for this pen test meeting. Joshua said, when I started in cyber, I took 2 months of fundamentals. Nice. See, before I switched to pen testing, I technically had about like 10 years of IT experience. It was just kind of part-time on the side as I was a pastor. But it was easy for me to switch to hacking because I was already highly technical. OSCP is still worth it? Yes, it is still worth it. Specifically for the name recognition side of things. Nader said, what are the things that I should know before going into hacking? Like, I studied 2 modules about networking at uni, but I do not know if that's enough. Once again, I think A+, Network Plus, Security Plus. That's a good foundation. So if you've already done some of that stuff in university, just take practice tests for A+, Network Plus, Security Plus. Less A+, honestly, more network and security, but take practice tests for them and see how you do. It will reveal some of the weak areas that you have in your fundamentals, and then study those areas. All right, sounds good. How long would those take normally? Obviously, I need to be patient, but just curious. It depends on you. What might take me a month, it could take another person a year. What might take me a year, it could take another person a month. It depends on how willing you are to grind and really dive into the learning material and being disciplined with your schedule. And it depends on how quickly you learn things, so your capacity for learning. I can't answer that because it's going to be different for every single person. I will say, like, one of the best things to do is join a community where other people are learning. In the Hacksmarter Discord, once again, the Discord's completely free. 15,000 plus members right now. We host weekly goal meetings multiple times a week. We host free workshops. We have study groups. All of that's completely free. So join the Hacksmarter Discord. Join one of our study groups. Be active there. And I think that will also help you immensely in your journey. Nader said, where to start on AD? I want to start learning a bit about it. I am a bit late. Sorry. It depends on whether you know Active Directory in general. If you have never used Active Directory, especially in enterprise environment or just on your own, start there. Don't start hacking Active Directory. Learn how to build with AD. There are so many resources online to help you get started with using Active Directory. Spin up your own domain controller, play around with it. That's actually what I recommend for a beginning point, is learn Active Directory. Crypto Ghost said, I just purchased your web app course and going through it as I do some work. Given that this course is beginner friendly, I assume you are working on an advanced course or have one planned at some point. I don't know. Don't know yet. I'll keep you posted. I'm always, and I've shared this before on stream, I'm always split on the value of advanced courses. In my experience, and I'm only speaking about me personally, once you get into the field as a pen tester and you're doing more advanced stuff on your own, you don't necessarily need a course. You are generally at a level where when you have a topic you want to learn, you're able to dig into it yourself and learn it. You don't need a course that holds your hand to teach you and guide you. You can do so that's actually one of the big reasons on Hacksmarter. Not everyone needs or wants to go through the courses, right? That's why I have a separate sub that's only for our hands-on labs. So for only, $6.99 a month for the annual plan, you get access to all of our labs. I think when you're at a more advanced level, you learn better by just going through labs, getting stuck and learning that way, and less by the more hand-holdy course perspective. So I don't know. I don't know if advanced courses are honestly that helpful for people. I think it's better to either dive into labs or dive into real pen tests, and then you learn. And if you're advanced enough to take an advanced course, you have the fundamental skills down that you can teach yourself what you need to learn, from my experience. Curious if you guys disagree, though. Marino said, I did A+, Network Plus, Security Plus, CYSA, and Pentest Plus. It all led naturally to CPTS and OSCP, and now I'm here. Well, you have now graduated to Hacksmarter. No, thank you for being here, and awesome work. Akil said, I have 100% visually impaired, but I'm learning in cybersecurity and ethical hacking using screen reader software. Please guide me. I can't guide you because I don't know what it's like to be visually impaired. I don't know what the screen readers are like. There's just no way for me to guide you because I don't know what your experience is like. I am not specialized in helping people who are visually impaired. So legit, I can't guide you. Hey, the gentleman, we just finished recording a segment for YouTube, and now we are doing an AMA or an Ask Me Anything, and then we're going to dive back into the hacking. If you want to follow along, we are working through the Midgard and 2 lab on the Hacksmarter platform. So head to hacksmarter.org. Midgard and 2 is a lab that we are working on if you want to hack alongside me. Some universities reimburse CompTIA vouchers. That's cool. Oh, cool. I only asked because you mentioned one of the earlier modules about some advanced topics, so I thought I would ask. No, so what I want to do for some of the more advanced topics is rather than having a full course, I want to have guided labs. So for example, course misconfigurations, this is our first guided lab that I released, and it's free, so like you can literally go check it out. If you check out this guided lab, I am logged in. What is going on? Give me a moment. Do. So here's what I want to do. This guided lab, for example, explains a concept in a lot more detail and then has a practical challenge lab at the end. So what I want to do for some of those more advanced things is rather than having a full course, having guided labs with a challenge lab at the end, in addition to also having challenge labs about that topic. So that's how I want to teach some of those more advanced topics. I think that fits the formatting and the way advanced learners learn better than a full advanced course. But I'm always experimenting, guys. Like, I might change my mind on that tomorrow. I call everything an experiment because I'm always changing how I do things and trying to figure out the right fit and the best way to help people learn. So we'll see if I change my mind about that. But that's my current plan and how I'm approaching that. Totally open to your feedback and thoughts. If you think that's a good plan or a terrible plan, please let me know. What certs resume guarantee a pen test job? Nothing guarantees a pen test job. And anyone who tells you that their cert or their lab or their boot camp guarantees you a pen test job, they are scamming you. Now, as far as certs that will help you get a pen test job, OSCP and get CVEs and build a personal brand. Those 3 things will help you get one, but nothing can guarantee you a pen test job. If anyone tells you otherwise, they are scamming you. Glad you like the thumbnails, Fairy. I make them in Canva, so I'm glad you enjoy it. Heffy said, I should say, in my opinion. Your opinion is correct, Heffy. No cert guarantees a pen test job. What's up, Dakota, a.k.a. the Bearded IT Dad? Good to have you checking in. Hey, we're just doing some hacking. No, we're not doing LinkedIn roasting today. Did about an hour of AMA, then we did some hacking. Now we're doing some AMA, and then we're going to dive back into hacking. We're almost at the 2-hour mark of today's live stream, which is crazy. All right, last call for questions. Otherwise, I'm going to start recording part 2 of us working through the Midgard and 2 machine on the Hacksmarter platform. I personally only got the CRTL, and the CRTL is legit. Yeah. That's the thing, guys. Once you get a job as a pen tester, the certs aren't that important. I think it's important to do the learning for the certs, but actually taking the certs, you don't have to. You're already doing pen testing. Are there going to be any labs on exploit dev for thick client pen test? If you make one. Guys, you have to recognize that our labs are created by the community. Most of them are not created by me, and whatever the community submits, if they're good, we'll add them. So that's why we added Blue Team labs now. We also have IoT labs coming where we're going to virtualize hardware on top of the EC2 and teach you how to do IoT hacking. But that's because someone was like, hey, any IoT labs? And I said, yes, when you make them. And I reached out to them afterwards, and they are going to make us some. So if you want thick client pen test labs, no name, if you make them, we'll have them. Darn, I can't make more AI photos of us. Dude, I showed my wife that after I got off work. I showed her that segment of the live stream where I went to review your LinkedIn profile, and it was the photos of us having a picnic. She also thought it was hilarious. How can I get a machine on Hacksmarter? The first step is just emailing me an idea of what your attack path is so I can make sure it's realistic. And then I'll guide you on how to make it. But the first step is just emailing me what you're planning on doing. because I don't want you to waste your time if we say it's not realistic for our platform. Hack me right now, big boy. All right, Zigzag. I got you, my friend. Hack me right now, big boy. I love it. I think this is Zigzag. I don't recognize your name. So I think this is like your first time chatting on a live stream, and the first thing you say is hack me right now, big boy. You are today's MVP. And if you've been here before and I don't recognize your name, I apologize. Thank you, Dark Mood. King Cope said over on Twitch, hey Tyler, are you experiencing browser exploitation? Outside of like client-side web app attacks, like cross-site scripting and clickjacking and stuff, no. What do you rate it? What do I rate what? Your first message, I rated a 10 out of 10. I'm a noob. Someone please submit a guide to the client pen test. I don't understand malware dev, but I'm willing to pass OSCP, CRT, and OSEP. Should I go in red teaming, but I don't understand malware dev? I mean, if you've never been a pen tester, you might want to do pen testing before you go into red teaming. You can do red teaming without fully understanding malware dev, because red teaming is a lot of things, social engineering, things of that nature, and you could have malware dev people on there for you. LinkedIn review done. LinkedIn reviews were yesterday. I'll probably, I didn't realize me roasting people's LinkedIns was going to be so popular, so I'll start doing that once a week on a live stream. But today's live stream is we're hacking. How can CVEs help with getting a job? Because you get a CVE identifier assigned to you. It's a public record. It shows that you have experience working with vendors. It shows that you can find vulnerabilities in real world applications. It helps in all those different kinds of ways. The order of the messages are getting fumbled on your screen, apparently. Oh, you mean like, no, it's not fumbled. This is, well, sorry, things are, I can't freaking point. It's so hard. There we go. It's just because new messages come up here, old messages go down. So I think that's what you must mean by fumbled. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are you ready to do some more hacking? Can we build it? Yes, we can. Can we hack it? Yes, we can. Forget Bob the Builder. We're Bob the Hacker. I tell you what. All right. Once again, if you want to follow along, you'll learn by watching. You learn better by hacking with me. Go to Hacksmarter. Click Hands-On Labs. I solved these in the order that they are released. So I've solved all these labs down here. We finished Welcome. We are starting Midgard in 2. So this is the lab that you will see me hacking on the Hacksmarter platform. So join the platform. Hack all the things. It's only like $6 a month if you do the annual plan. It's crazy cheap. But that's what we're doing. How much does your job pay? Well, I don't really have a job. I have my own businesses. I run Hacksmarter, which is a training platform, and I run Kairosec, which is a pen testing firm. But, like, I'm not an employee. Tyler makes $1.5 million a year. Exactly. I make $1.5 million a year, a month, a day. And then that's just until I box Jake Paul. Once I box Jake Paul, then I'm going to retire. Can you hack a live site? This is boring. I do that for my job, but no. If I hack a site live, that is breaking so many different laws and policies. I can't do that. But I mean, that is what I do normally. So I run my own pen testing firm, and I just finished up actually a 2-week web app pen test. So obviously when I do this, yes, I'm hacking real stuff, but the labs are very realistic to what you'll see in the real world. How does your workflow look like? I'm just 17. You'll see all of it. You'll see all of it here. Zigzag, if you are new to like my YouTube channel, you might want to watch out some of the other videos, and you'll get a feel for kind of my teaching, what I do, and kind of what our approach is. But yeah, stop spamming. You're going to get banned. Yeah, we'll give him a little bit of grace because I think he's new to the chat, but Bearded IT, I thought I was your big boy. You were until you removed the pictures of us on your LinkedIn. I noticed that you did not keep those pictures up, so that hurt my feelings. You should have left the pictures up. Yo, Ty, you got any tips for OSCP report format or template? I literally use their template. I'm guessing it's still out there. All right, this is the last question I'm going to answer. not OSCP prep. What is the OPSEC OSCP report template? And then we'll dive into the hacking. But I literally use the report template they give you. Like I downloaded the Microsoft Word report template, and that's what I used. I didn't want to do anything that would, like, that they could come after me for, or if I did something wrong. So I used their Microsoft Word template and just did my whole report in Microsoft Word. Don't recommend it for real pen testing doing it that way, but for the OSCP, it's fine. And that's how I did it. Let's drop the link to that. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time to hack all the things. Now, if you are new to my live stream, hello, hello, hello. My name is Tyler. There's like 115 of you here, and a bunch of you just joined for some reason within the past 10 minutes. So let me explain to you what is going on. It is during my live streams that I also make my shorter standalone videos for my YouTube channel. So in just a moment, I'm going to welcome everybody again. It's going to feel a little bit strange because you're already here. But what I'm doing is I'm recording another video as a standalone for my YouTube channel. And by the way, YouTube is my primary platform. So if you are watching on LinkedIn or Twitch or YouTube, do the social media stuff, smash that like button. Let me drop a link to my YouTube. But that's where you can find all of these live streams after the fact. That's where you can find all the shorter standalone videos after the fact, all of those things. So make sure you follow on YouTube. And also, I need to grab the video that we just recorded on my host computer and drop it to the right folder so it's ready to upload to YouTube. Give me just a moment while I do that, and then I'll go back to sharing my screen. Publish all these, archive, paste, rename. This was Midgard 2, part 1. All right. Drink of water, then we hack all the things. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. This is part 2 of working through the Midgard 2 lab on the Hacksmarter platform. This is a hard-rated Active Directory lab, and I haven't solved it yet. So I'm giving you my full methodology, my note-taking process, my thought process as we work our way through it. But hey, before we dive into the hacking in this video, if you haven't heard, I released what I believe is the best beginner-friendly web app pen testing course that is out right now. So before we dive into the hacking, I have a very short promo about that course. So if you haven't bought it, buy it while this promo is playing. I want to teach you how to become a real hacker. Not what you see in Hollywood, not just running scripts off the internet, but I want to teach you how to do real hacking against real web applications in such a way that you get paid for it, but also, number 2, you do it legally. I don't want you to go to prison. And I do this for my day-to-day. I started my own pen testing company called Kairosec, where I hack companies every single day for a living. I get paid to do it, and that's how I pay my bills. And I also have my own training platform called Hacksmarter, where I teach you how to do the very thing, but I release all of my labs, all of my courses, incredibly affordable. Well, in this web app pen testing course, I cover first what exactly is web app pen testing, how does the web actually work, but then we go through what is a pen test. I share with you the legal documents that I use with real clients when I hack their environment so that I don't go to prison. I encourage you to take those and make them your own. And then we go through a full web app pen test, and I explain every single thing I do to hack into some of the largest organizations in the world today. At the end, I have a custom capstone challenge with a full web app with 27 vulnerabilities for you to find. No flags, use the methodology that you learned in the class to find those. Here's the thing. If you go through this course, you do all the labs, and if by the end you are not a significantly more skilled, ethical hacker, shoot me an email. I will refund you 100% of whatever you paid for the course. That's how much I believe that this course can positively transform your life, positively transform your career, and take you to the next level. So what are you waiting for? Go to hacksmarter.org today, enroll in the course, hack all the things. I will see you there. All right, let's pick up right where we left off in the previous part of working through this lab. And also, you may notice chat on the screen. I make all of these videos while I am live streaming. There are over 100 people right now in the live studio audience, and this could have been you. You could have been here for the filming of this video if you were cool. So what you need to do is make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification so you're notified the next time I am live, and then you too can be in the live studio audience as we film these different parts of working through these labs, and you can ask questions and it can be fully interactive. perspective. But here we go. We have the machine here. I've already started the enumeration in part 1. So just to recap, the main thing that we were able to do is we found a password that was being stored in an AD description for an account for a Thor user. We then did password spraying, and it was Thor's password. We compromised the Thor user. And what stands out to me is that Thor has access to scripts. Eventually, we'll also want to use Bloodhound to map out any Active Directory attack paths. But for now, let's go ahead and see what is in this script share, which, by the way, I forgot to say this in the beginning, you'll learn a lot by watching me. You'll learn even more by hacking alongside of me. So join Hacksmarter, launch the Midgard into machine, and let's hack together. All right, for all of you in the live stream, if you have questions about the lab that we're working on, I'll answer it. If you have general questions, which is what I'm seeing now, I will answer those questions once we are done recording for the next 15 to 20 minute segment or however long I end up going. All right, let's go ahead and dig into scripts and see if there's anything interesting here. In the real world, you will often find secrets and stuff being stored in PowerShell scripts. Matter of fact, I shared this in part 1 as well, but on an internal pen test, I found credentials for a service account in a script directory just like this that allowed me to do DC sync to the domain. And if you know your Active Directory attacks, that was full compromise after that. But anyways, let's dig into this script directory and see what is there. We can do that with SMB client. So I'm going to do SMB client. I don't remember the full name for this. I'm just going to grab the IP. I think we'll be fine. Do that. And this is called scripts. Actually, I don't need to do that because I don't need to escape anything. So do scripts. I think it's -U. I think we'll do Thor, and then we'll do the little percentage thing, and then you pass in the user's password. So let me grab Thor's password here, like so. And there we go. We were able to connect to the share. And if we do dir, we can see that we have some DMSA type stuff here, which is going to be vulnerable. Likely, this is going to be hint pointing us to DMSA abuse, which would be called bad successor. I believe, yes. I'm pretty sure that's what these scripts are going to be hinting to us. Bad successor, abusing DMSA to escalate privileges in Active Directory, which are delegated managed service accounts, blah, blah. I don't know if we're there yet, but we're going to want to keep this in our mind since I am seeing these different scripts here. I think we can mget all these scripts. Mget is just going to download all the different scripts here, and then we can look at them individually. And so I downloaded all those scripts. I'm going to exit out from there, and let's just take a look at these different scripts. Do I not have VS Code installed? We'll just do Code OS. That works. They just give us a little nicer view as we look at these different scripts and see if there's any secrets being stored, what they're doing, and that's really what we're aiming for. But you know what else I need to do? I should have grabbed this before. I'll just grab it here. And let's add some of this information to our notes. We'll say digging into the scripts share. Right? So it seems abused via bad successor. More information. And I believe Windows Defender and everything's fully enabled. Like any of our machines that are medium and above have that enabled. So any tools that we use, we're likely going to have to obfuscate things or recompile them, like do some type of evasion when we get to that point. Let me go ahead and just grab this. Abusing DMSA for privilege escalation in AD. And we'll drop that link there just so we have it and we can come back to it. Wow, my CPU is like freaking out. Is it because this is downloading? Is it done? It's taking a while. Okay, you know what? We're just going to stop that. I'll install it offline. We can just cat these out manually. What I'm really looking for is seeing if there's any credentials being stored. So as I was thinking, it's creating a delegated managed service account. This actually looks like the standard Windows stuff to do it. So unless they are passing credentials, All right, so it prompts the user for the fully qualified domain name, enter the full OU path for DMSAs, such as service accounts, enter the name, enter the computer or group to retrieve the managed password, which we do see an account name there. But nothing necessarily insecure about that. No passwords are being passed in the scripts that I'm seeing. I'm call. But if we can abuse this process, compromise one of these service accounts, I think we'd be able to abuse bad successor and eventually elevate our privs to domain admin, which seems to be what the lab is pointing at. But a lot easier said than done. So there's really nothing in these scripts that I think can be directly abusable by Thor. So from there, what we want to do is do some general Active Directory enumeration. There's multiple different ways you can do this. I think the best tool for AD enumeration is a tool called Bloodhound, which uses graph theory to map out different attack paths. But in order to use Bloodhound, we first have to get what's called the loot, or all of the Active Directory information. We want to download all of the groups and the objects and the permissions, and you can actually do that with netexec. So let's go ahead and give that a shot, see if we can download the loot, and then we will spin up Bloodhound and begin analyzing what attack paths might exist in this AD environment. Go to my terminal, we'll do netexec. If I go up enough, we have it right here. So we can just use Thor's account, which will be fine. I'm going to change it from SMB to LDAP. And then I think this is what I always mess up. I think it's Bloodhound collection all. Oh my goodness, guys. This is like the first time that I did this and I remembered the syntax for Bloodhound. If you've ever watched me on stream, you know that when I'm trying to collect loot with netexec, I always, and I mean always, forget the syntax. I'm just going to grab the full domain here. I'm going to paste that in instead. And I need to specify the domain controller, which is really the DNS. I'm going to hide my face, guys, so I'm not blocking it. But to fix this, you just need to pass it the IP. You do -- DNS server, I believe. And then you just want to grab the IP of the domain controller. Like so. And then we cross our fingers and we hope it works. Although, oh no. I don't know what it's doing, but the fact that it's not doing anything is never a good sign. Might be timing out. Maybe I did something wrong with my flags. Maybe the machine has some type of protection against Bloodhound enumeration. So a lot of different things it could be. We'll let it load for just a moment. Maybe. Yeah, I'm not getting anything. And if I do it without the DNS server, it throws that error. All right, so there's always multiple different ways to do this. You can also use Bloodhound Python. I just always forget the syntax, so I have a very, very simple script in my GitHub. And if you want to check it out, if you go to github.com, Tenebrae93, this is my GitHub, offensive security, Active Directory, and AD Bloodhound. It's that script right there. I think I already have it on my machine. If I go to Tools, Offensive Security, Active Directory, adbloodhound.sh, it's going to say, hey, what's your domain? Which our domain is going to be the yggdrazzle.hacksmarter. So I'm going to paste that in. Our username is going to be Thor. Our password for Thor is going to be Thor Winterfang. The IP of our domain is going to be this right here. And there we go. Bloodhound Python works. So when netexec fails, you can fall back to Bloodhound Python. If that fails, you can use, like, there's a Bloodhound Rust collector. You can also use Sharphound from a Windows machine. But it looks like we were able to use Bloodhound Python in order to do this. So I'm just going to grab this and add it to our notes, showing that this was the method we ended up using. And guys, this is a big lesson. If you want to get into ethical hacking, your tools will fail. You need to know how to pivot to different tools and different ways of accomplishing the same task so that when they fail, you can pivot quickly. And that's what we just did. So how am I doing on my structure here? So we're at compromising Thor's account. I'm just going to do an H1. And we'll just call this Bloodhound Enumeration. And I'm going to add a note here that collecting loot with netexec failed, but it does work with Bloodhound Python. And I used my helper script. But all it is Bloodhound Python. I just forget the syntax. And this helps me remember the syntax, as it literally just prompts you, and then we'll collect all the information for you. And now, if we do an ls, we can see all these .json files. That is all the different Active Directory information that we are going to want to ingest into Bloodhound, and then we can analyze the different attack paths. So let's go ahead and do that now. Now, what I'm going to use is what's called Bloodhound CLI. I'll go back to the beginning, just run it as sudo because I don't think my user's in the Docker group. I'm going to let this start running, and then I'll show you Bloodhound CLI if you've never used it before. You just Google, and Google's always your best friend, Bloodhound CLI. You can go to Spectre Ops' GitHub, and you can download the binary and run it. So here's your GitHub. Go to releases. And what you're going to download, if you're on your typical Kali Linux machine running on Windows or Ubuntu, is the AMD 64. If you're on Mac, you might need the ARM, depending on what chip you have. But most of you will download this one right here. You will unzip it, and then you'll have the same binary I just ran. The reason that I'm able to just run it is because I saved it to my path, which if on Linux, if you echo out path, you can see your path. Any binaries in your path, you can then call from anywhere. So if we had Bloodhound CLI, like in my current directory, we could do cp Bloodhound CLI, and you would just save it to your path, such as user local bin. You would have to use sudo permissions to do it. But then once you do that, you can call Bloodhound CLI anytime, and it will pull it out, which is how I was able just to type Bloodhound CLI install. You can see that it loaded it up for us. It does give you a default password if you've never ran Bloodhound before. I have, so the default password is not going to work for me. But let's go ahead and head out to Bloodhound, ingest this data, and begin analyzing what attack paths might exist. I know it says email, but it's really just admin. And then my password is Hacksmarter321 exclamation mark. If you're using Bloodhound for the first time, you'll use the default password that it gives you right there. And I used the same Bloodhound instance when we were doing the welcome machine. So before I add data, I'm actually going to clear my old data. So I think it's administration. If you click into administration, we'll go to database management, and I'm just going to clear all graph data just so we don't get confused with any prior data that is in here. So we'll delete this environment data, and it will not take long. Oh, I did not reactivate the camera. Thank you for telling me. Sorry that you guys couldn't see me, but you saw the important thing, which is the actual hacking. But thank you, Sir Ray, for letting me know the camera was not on. Anyways, I am going to turn the camera off in just a moment anyways when we look at Bloodhound, because there's a bunch of stuff on the screen I want you to be able to see. This shouldn't take too long since we are just in a lab environment. So let's go ahead and begin ingesting our Bloodhound data for the Midgard 2 machine. We're going to go to File Ingest. Once again, this is at Administrator. File ingest, and then we're going to upload those JSON files that we generated previously. We'll go over to Midgard 2, and I'm just going to click up here, hold shift on my keyboard, and click down here to highlight all of those JSON files. Click open, and then click upload. And it says successfully uploaded 7 files for ingest. And you can see the spam at example is just the default because I haven't set any users up, but it is ingesting the files now. Now in a real world AD environment, this might take a little bit longer because you could be ingesting thousands of users and different OUs and different machines and servers and such. Because we are in a lab environment, it might take a minute or two at the most, and it should switch from ingesting over to complete. and then we can begin enumerating the users. I like to think of Bloodhound almost like Google Maps for attacking Active Directory, because it shows you different paths to get from your current user to other users or to domain admin. You can map out different attack paths, but it's like Google Maps or even like old school MapQuest, except for your destination is not a vacation. Your destination is domain admin on the domain controller. I'm going to refresh, see if our data is done. Nope, it is still ingesting. So we'll continue to give it a little bit of time. We got 2 files ingested so far, 7 files. There we go. So ingesting is complete. It analyzed, and now it is complete. Now what we want to do is we just compromise a Thor user. So now we can enumerate, like, does our Thor user have any special permissions? I'm going to hit the Explore tab up there. Here's where I'm going to make myself disappear again. So bye, everyone, because there's going to be a panel over here that pops up. So let's go ahead and start typing for Thor. And we can see the Thor user right here that we compromised. The most fun thing to do is you right-click the user and you mark them as owned. And then you get like the old school RuneScape, you just killed somebody in the wieldy skull above your head, and they have now been owned by us. But the right side is what I really want you to pay attention to. You can see it gives us good information about the user. We have their full name, Thor Odinson, the object ID. Scroll, scroll, scroll. What we're really looking for, and we do see it here, we want to see if our user has any outbound object control. If your user has outbound object control, it means that we can do something to another user or another group. Maybe we can change someone's password, things of that nature, to do lateral movement or privilege escalation. To see what rights we have, we can just click outbound object control, and you can see it maps it out for us. So Thor is a member of the PC specialist group. I'm going to pull Hodor over here. We'll get it a little bit closer for a good screenshot. And the PC Specialist 2 group has force change password permissions over this Hodor or Hodder. I don't know mythology, so I don't know how to actually say it, but this Hodor user. Let's go ahead and grab a screenshot of this for our notes. I like to use Flameshot for screenshots, and I'm going to go like this, like so. And here is a permission that is most interesting to us. I'm going to do Control-C. I'll jump back over to our notes, and I'm going to add a note here. We'll say compromising the Hodor user, and we can see the permissions that we have there. And make it much smaller. Align it to the left. We have that force change password policy. And what's really nice about Bloodhound is this is a pretty obvious name. You can change someone's password. Sometimes it's not so obvious. So if you want a hint, if you click onto that edge right there, it will explain to you what it is. So on general, it says the members of this group have the capability to change the user Hodor's password without knowing that current user's password. We can even click into Linux abuse, and it will tell you how to abuse this from Linux, aka how you can abuse this from Kali Linux, and we can set this person's password. And then from there, we'd want to enumerate what does Hodor have access to, what are they able to do. But guess what? We are at the 20-minute mark. This is a very good stopping point, good natural stopping point. We have enumerated the AD environment. We figured out that we can compromise this Hodor user, but I want you to try that on your own. I showed you how to enumerate, how to dig in. So try that on your own. Launch the Midgard into machine, see if you're able to compromise the Hodor user, and then continue enumerating the AD environment with Bloodhound and other tools, and see what you're able to do. If you get stuck, that's totally fine. Just join me in the next video, part 3, and we will continue working through this lab together. And hey, before I sign off, I did see a question. MVCat said, what's the likelihood of being able to use tools like Certify and OSCP? I sort of doubt you're going to run into ADCS. It's almost, I don't know if I would say it's too advanced, but keep in mind OSCP is entry-level pen testing. I don't know if you're going to have to know ADCS vulnerabilities for that. In the OSEP, so the OSEP is the advanced version of the OSCP. I haven't taken the exam, but I am going through the course, and the OSEP course teaches ADCS. I don't know if the Pen 200 course teaches it or not. So you just want to see if the course teaches it. But it's relatively easy to exploit once you do it a few times. But hey, for all of you watching, thank you so much for watching. This is the end of part 2 of working through the Midgard 2 machine on the Hacksmarter platform. So until next time, Hacksmarter, and I will see you in the next one. All right, live stream people. I'm not leaving you guys, though, at least not yet. I will be jumping off soon because I've been live now for 2.5 hours and I want to eat something and I have client stuff to respond to on the Kairosec side of things, but happy to hang around and answer any questions you guys might have, career type stuff, all of that fun stuff. I'm actually, what I'm going to do is stop my machine. There we go. It's stopped on its own. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, Moham said, got my first bounty. That's awesome. Congratulations, my friend. Thank you for sharing. K-Seam said, what hacking specialty are you in? What would you recommend going with, trying to master? I'm basically just a generalist. That's how I was at my previous firm, and that's how we are at Kairosec. So, like, this is my pen testing firm that I run, and I hack through. And so you can see what we offer. We offer all the standard pen testing. I would not say I'm an expert at any of them, but I'm pretty good at all of them, if that makes sense. So I don't have a specialty. I do a little bit of everything when it comes to pen testing. Good night. You must be in a different time zone. It's just afternoon for me, but yo, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate all of you. We had the support, guys, is insane to me. Just thank you. Thank you. If you have purchased a course, if you purchased the web app course, if you have purchased other content on Hacksmarter, if you watch these live streams all the time, your support means the world to me. And I do not take that for granted. So thank you for taking the time to hang out with me as we work through these labs. I hope you find it helpful and beneficial, but thank you for being here. NVCat Blog said, learned tons from your videos. I got the year's access and done the first 2 easy AD labs. I'm primarily a web app pen tester, but company is putting me through OSCP. Gotcha. You'll enjoy the AD labs for sure, and the Windows and Linux labs. They'll be good prep. What would you recommend going with? If you're just trying to get into the field of pen testing, having strong web app pen testing skills is your best bet. If you have really strong web app pen testing skills, you have a much higher chance of landing a junior pen tester role. Any resume tips and tricks? And how did you get your CVEs? I don't really have too many resume tips and tricks. I just did an entire live stream yesterday, 3 hours of me critiquing people's personal branding. Watch the live stream from yesterday. As far as CVEs go, I also have multiple videos on how I find CVEs. Just go to YouTube, type my name plus CVE, and you'll see a bunch of videos I made about how I do CVE hunting. All right, y'all. Well, I'm going to jump off. I'm going to grab some food, and then I'm going to start working on client stuff for clients at Kairosec. But, guys, same time, same place tomorrow. I'll be live streaming again tomorrow. We'll do some more hacking tomorrow. So if you enjoyed this, come back tomorrow. Would love to see you again, and we'll continue hacking and learning together. So freaking Thicolo joins at the very end. Always. I don't know how you managed to do that. Thicolo, dude. I've been live for over 2.5 hours. I'm signing off now, and you just happen to join after 2.5 hours to say hello. But I apologize, Thicolo. We are we are closing things out. I did a random bug bounty for the first time a couple weeks back. Got CSRF in the first 5 minutes. Got a 500 payout. That's awesome. Congrats, MVCat Blocks. That's amazing. Yes, you did come this late. I'm sorry, Thicolo. We are wrapping up, but same place, well, maybe not Thicolo. Thicolo come earlier tomorrow. But yes, I will be live streaming again tomorrow. Thank you all for being here. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for another live stream. So until then, peace. Good to see you.